phones. Because you can't find that iPad, but it doesn't matter.
Shalom, shalom. We're gonna base it off this first. We'll just kind of wait a few minutes. Hey, shalom, Akim, shalom, Akwats. We're here for another class today. We just want to start off and say shalom to all the brothers and sisters that's out here in YouTube and Zoom and that checks us out on different platforms. We want to say shalom and welcome to another class. The topic of the class is Nimrod your king? That's the topic of the class. Obviously, for those that do have some knowledge of the Bible, you know this is the so-called holiday season. So a lot of people are getting ready to observe these holidays and worship these holidays and commemorate these holidays. You know, you got people already. You know, Halloween. First of all, we know that's a demonic holiday anyway.
It's a no-go. Even with Baptist, it's a no-go.
We're gonna do you know, we're gonna call it Fall Fest.
Yeah.
You know, it's still gonna get some pumpkins and still carve them, but we're gonna call it Fall Fest.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Hallelujah party.
Yeah. Oh,
Hallelujah party. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you're at the church, we do the same exact things they do in the world. It's okay.
Right. Exactly, man. So, so we're just going to touch these topics, man, and what people are going to celebrate. They want to celebrate. They're willing to celebrate.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into what the Most High, how the Most High looks at it. You know what I'm saying? So, welcome to another class. And
here's what I found on the web.
oh man, this phone be tripping. But I want to say shalom and welcome to another class, man, for those that's here in person and the ones that's here on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Online Zoomers, YouTubers.
All that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So we're just waiting. I'm just waiting for like 2 more minutes, man. Just kind of start from a real basic perspective. And it's something that we gotta look at and deal with, because that impression of these holidays are heavily promoted to children, and they're heavily promoted to children, and children are innocent. They're naive. My Lord. We're just waiting. People are coming in right now, so we're just giving a few more minutes for everybody to fall in. And it's not we're not gonna make it long, but we just want to touch on some of the basics of what these holidays represent, what they're about, and how the Most High feels about them. Because that's ultimately that's what's important. You know, we have to look at how does the Most High look at the things that we hold fast as far as a tradition or as a custom or as a place of worship or reverence in our minds that we consider spiritual. You know, everybody's definition of spirituality is up and down. You know what I'm saying? It's a variety of people who think that by me observing these days, these customs, I'm being spiritual. You know, and this is recognized and authorized by the Most High. And the Most High is taking notice of these things. So what we want to do is deal with these topics, and just giving a few more minutes for brothers to come in. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's crazy. A lot of people think being spiritual is like feeling energy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the energy. Some think it's, you know, good singing, really good, passionate singing.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think energy is, being spiritual is a dress code.
Mm-hmm.
It's a form of just putting regalia on.
Yeah, like a wearing of holy garments.
Yeah, it's a feeling. There's a feeling that comes with putting on spiritual, like, or boho, like
Yeah.
bohemian type, the hemp necklaces and the beads. There's a feeling that you get.
Or even when you bust out them holiday clothes.
Straight up.
When you pull out them sweaters, them ugly Christmas sweaters.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's competing at work.
There's a feeling.
It's a feeling when you got the jingle bells on the sweater, or you got the tree that actually lights up on the sweater.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You just feel like you're doing something extra spiritual.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've been indoctrinated with in being in this place, that we've been taught and educated a bunch of fairy tales and fake idolatrous religions that gives us this notion that we're doing something spiritual every time we go out of our way to celebrate these times.
Yeah, I can't even lie. About years ago, because we're black people, we want to do something different.
Right.
We did Kwanzaa, right?
Yeah.
we did Kwanzaa, right? And I'm like, okay, I'll do Kwanzaa. It's black, it's African, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brother, we ended up passing around the same cup, pouring something in and out, and this whole circle was together. It was a big circle, and everybody drank from the cup.
Come on, man.
I didn't drink from the cup.
That's Corona.
It's a Corona cup. But that was like I guess it was like the celebration of Kwanzaa.
God.
I felt kind of like, this isn't me. This isn't my place.
Right. Absolutely. So it's funny how everybody can give a tale or testimony of how people observe these days, man, and what they do to make themselves feel spiritual.
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
Tis the season.
It's the season of giving. You feel like being more charitable.
Like helping people out.
Helping people out. You know what I'm saying? And there's people in the world that will gladly receive your help during this time. They look at this time as a come up.
It's the best time.
Yeah.
It's the best time of year.
So we're just getting started, man. We haven't really started the class yet, but we're just kind of warming up to the topic because we're just kind of waiting for people to get here at the same time. But for those that's already here, man, there's no need to wait. We ain't gonna make everybody wait.
You know what kills me?
What's that?
What kills me is you go into the corporate world, stores and stuff, and you see everything's decorated, and we're not even close to that time of year.
Right.
But everything's already prepped.
You got Christmas decorations coming up.
Yeah.
And it's not even Thanksgiving yet. You know what I'm saying? But they're already preparing for the next holiday, for the biggest money makers. Because ultimately what it comes down to is, it's not about the actual helping of humanity. It's not about aiding someone and helping someone. It's about, what are the economic numbers? What are the spending numbers?
Yeah.
What is the numbers that the markets say is generating from these holidays?
Yeah.
That's what's important to this society. How much spending did people do? It's not how many helping hands that were actually given. It's not about that, because you can help somebody year round. You don't have to wait for one time or one season of the year to extend yourself to someone. But what these people do in this culture, this society, is based upon numbers. How much finance, how much spending did people do? That's how a good season is determined. That's how a healthy Christmas is determined, based upon spending. How much did people spend? What did they buy? Did they buy electronics? Did the consumers buy cars? Did they buy houses? Did they buy furniture? Did they buy clothing? This is how holidays are examined in this world. This is how it's based upon what the consumer spend. It's not about you getting closer to the Most High. Has nothing to do with that. But they'll use the traditions of people, the traditions, these man-made traditions. Yeah. They'll use them as a means to generate income and finances, to pull the last dollar out of your pocket. That's when you'll find that companies that don't even do layaway, all of a sudden, for the holidays, we're doing layaway. You know what I'm saying?
You're going to be in line.
That's a way to get you to commit some money to these purchases before you even have it all to buy it. We'll let you buy it in portions, in sections, so you can afford it. This is when credit card companies start giving away, extra spending bonuses and special cash back deals for using your credit card around this time. This is when your job gives you the Christmas bonus and the holiday bonus. You get the extra $100, or you get the free turkey from your job, or whatever it is, or you get the free turkey dinner, or you get the Christmas party. And at the Christmas party, they provide the meal for everybody, all the employees. You get to drink and dance and party, which, when you go into the origin of that too, it still has something to do with paganistic customs. But this is when the job is actually more giving. And it's almost like, man, my job cares about me.
Yeah.
No,
you coming to Christmas party?
Yeah, but knowing damn well you got one more time to be written up, and you fired. And your whole idea is let me make it to Christmas.
Yeah.
Because if I at least make it to Christmas, I at least get my Christmas bonus. I at least get the Christmas party, and I get my days off.
Facts.
This is what people work for. But people don't realize the origin of these things. People don't recognize the origin of where these things come from. We just follow them because it's the ways of the world. We fall into the holiday season because it's the way that we were raised. A lot of us that didn't get this knowledge or get this truth from birth have adopted these customs of celebrating vain, paganistic, idolatrous worship.
But it's about the family.
But it was about all the family was together.
The family.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm not into the pagan.
You know, schools are out.
Come.
You get the 1 week off for Thanksgiving. You get 2 weeks off for Christmas.
Come.
So that's the time that you get to be home.
Yep.
You know, school, no homework.
Yep.
You having a good time. You ever notice how crime be through the roof? And the holiday season be the worst damn season. Murders. People don't even make it to New Year's.
They don't make it to New Year's.
They don't make it out the previous year. Drunk drivers, everything. Everybody's crashing, dying, crime, robbing, all kind of madness during this time.
Trampling people?
Yeah, trampling people. Because, you know, they would wait at the store at 4 o'clock in the morning, waiting for the store to open, camping outside the store. And as soon as the damn doors open up, you got people, like you said, trampling each other, trying to get Jordans, trying to get TVs on sale. TVs, big screens for $100, stepping on each other. What happened to the humanity? What happened to the love? You know what I'm saying? When you just stepped on somebody to get the TV.
Or even worse, you got the people that will stay there, they'll wait all night to get it, and as soon as you get it, there's a group of people out there gonna take it from you.
Yeah, they got people that's ready to jack. If you got the last pair of Jordans,
Jack boys,
you got people that's gonna try to offer it to you. If you're gonna sell it to them because they didn't get a ticket or they didn't get in line, or they just gonna rob you for it. This is a time that people know you go on in the mall, you go on to buy all these gifts. All these gifts can't fit in your hand. They're in your trunk. They're in your car. It's when all you gotta do is smash the little glass, and next thing you know, your trunk is open when you get out the mall, in the mall parking lot.
It's always broken. It's always broken glass.
Broken glass all the time, man.
That's the sparkles. That's the sparkling.
So I know we're just kind of warming up to the topic, but we're talking about this because this is real. You know, we've all seen this.
Yeah.
We've all experienced this. This is not uncommon. But why is it so important? And what is the actual basis and the meaning behind these false identifications of the Most High, or these false classifications of Christ?
God, you know, the fire boys, the fire trucks, they be going off every year too. This time of year with the apartment complexes, it's always that electrical fire. God,
we know what it is. Yeah. So to start the class off, I know for some of us that know this, the title of the class, write this down. The title of the class is Nimrod your king?
Yeah.
That's the title of the class. Is Nimrod your king? Because ultimately, it's Nimrod who is the origin of all the idolatrous worships of paganistic festivals that we worship today that are mainstays in our society. These mainstays are these things that we look forward to every year, being ignorant of what's right in the eyes of the Most High. So the topic of the class is Nimrod your king? Because when we celebrate or erect these high holy days or give place to them, that's actually who we're honoring. And we'll get to that in the class. But the first verse that we're going to go to is Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1.
Let me get there real quick. Let's read that.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
First and foremost, if you are a black Native American or Hispanic, of North American, or Negro and Indian descent of North, Central, and South America, you're not supposed to be following these customs anyway. These customs are of paganistic origin. And the Most High said, as being the children of Israel, this wasn't meant for us. Although we're the largest consumers during this time of year. But this wasn't meant for us. Read it one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Read on.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
The Most High said, do not learn, pick up, adopt, or incorporate what?
The way of the heathen.
The ways of the heathen. Why don't the Most High want us to learn the ways of the heathen? Somebody taught us Thanksgiving. Somebody taught us Halloween. Somebody taught, when we was on the slave ship, we didn't celebrate that. We didn't celebrate Halloween. We didn't celebrate Christmas. This was taught to us.
Come.
We adopted these customs when we got here. He said, learn not the way of the heathen. Go ahead.
And be not dismayed.
Okay, hold on. Why don't the Most High want us to learn the way of the heathen? Go to 1 Corinthians. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. Why is the Most High telling us not to learn the way of the heathen?
I got you.
Said 1 Corinthians what?
Chapter 10, verse 21.
Got it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 21 reads.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils.
He says you cannot do what?
Drink the cup of the Lord.
You cannot partake or be a part of the Most High and do both. You can't serve or drink the cup of the devils and serve the Most High. You can't do both.
Come.
Read on.
And the cup of devils.
Read on.
Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
Read on.
Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy?
Because if we do, we make the Most High what?
Jealous.
We make the Most High very jealous. Every time that we get started embarking on these holidays and trying to get into this so-called spirit, this holiday spirit, this cheerful spirit by wearing the clothes and putting up the trees and putting up the lights and decorating the house, putting the snowmen in the front yard, you know, putting Rudolph on the roof with the reindeer, with the wood carving on the house, going outside, setting up lights, putting it all around the house. He said this makes the Most High jealous. Why does it make the Most High jealous? Give me this right here. Give me Exodus chapter 22, verse 20. Somebody read that real quick. Exodus chapter 22, verse 20.
Exodus 22 and verse 20.
Hold on, let him put it up. Exodus chapter 22, verse 20. Read that.
Exodus 22 and verse 20. He that sacrifices unto any god.
The Most High said, anytime we as the children of Israel sacrifice to any god, go ahead.
Say unto the Most High only.
It says, save unto the Most High only. Anytime you go to worship anything outside the Most High, anything that's not the Most High, anything but the Most High. Read it one more time.
He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Most High only.
Save unto the Most High only. Go ahead.
He shall be utterly destroyed.
The Most High said what?
He shall be utterly destroyed.
So is the Most High with us observing outside practices that are that show allegiance to other gods?
No.
No. This is why the Most High gets very jealous. He said he'll destroy you. And we wonder why the holiday season is always some type of disaster, especially for us. Now we do it sometimes in ignorance, but there has to come a time when you got to be taught the origin of what you're doing in your traditions. You have to wake up and the lights have to come on and start asking yourself these questions. Why do we celebrate Christmas? Because if anybody would have celebrated Christmas, it would have been Christ. Right? And he would have ordained it. But let's go back to Jeremiah. Let that go in 1 Corinthians and go back to Jeremiah chapter 1.
Chapter 10.
Chapter 10, verse 1.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word
which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
He said, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Why are the heathen so quick to celebrate things that observe the astrological signs? Why are they so quick to observe things like Christmas or New Year's or Easter, which is Astarte? Astarte is the deity that's known as the Queen of Heaven in the scriptures, the mother goddess. Why does the nation so quick to do this? Go to Psalms chapter 96 verse 5. I'm taking it slow because I want people to get it. Psalms chapter 96 verse 5.
Psalm chapter 96 and verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
He says every last one of these gods of the nations are what?
Idols.
Are idols. Go ahead.
But the Lord made the heavens.
But the Most High made the heavens. They give people in the world, the pagans, they observe the sun. That's why you have a day called Sunday. Sunday, obviously, is a day in honor of the sun. The day after Sunday is what? Moon Day. Because they give a day dedicated to who? The moon. There's a day for the sun, and if you go into the origin of what the Most High has created, he said the first day, second day, third day. He never gave a name for the days of the week, but the nations do. The nations give every astrological celestial body a day to be commemorated. And that's why I said Sunday is the sun's day. Monday is the moon's day. That's where Monday comes from. Tuesday is what? Tuesday is that's Thursday. That's Thursday. 2 is his brother, which was Tiw. That was 2. He's Thor's brother in Norse mythology. That's where you get Tuesday from, because he has a day. Wednesday is Woden's day. That's Thor's father. Oh, in Norse mythology, that's Saturn. That's the supreme god of the heavens in Norse mythology. So now you got Woden's day, which is Wednesday. Then you got Thor's day, which we know Thor in Marvel Comics, he carries a hammer. Well, guess what? In mythology, in Norse mythology, Thor carries lightning, and he also carries a hammer. See the coincidence? It's still in celebration of these so-called cartoon characters, but they're bigger than Marvel characters. These are gods that we worshiped. That's where Thor's Day comes from. Where you get Friday from? Friday was Thor's mother, Frigga or Freya, and that's where you get the day Friday. And Frigga is the mother deity. Then it goes back to Saturday, Saturn's day, Saturn. That's where you get Saturday from. It's an observance of the star Saturn. You see how he said we have adopted their customs by honoring these days of the week. We use them same names that they gave us after the slave ships. But that's not what the Most High gave us. That's why he said this. Read it again.
Psalms 96 and 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
He says all the gods of the nations are idols. Right? Now, go to 1 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 25. Yeah, 1 Chronicles chapter 16. Read verse 26 and then 25. First Chronicles chapter 16, verse 25.
First Chronicles chapter 16, verse 25.
Read that.
It says, "For great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised."
It says the Most High is great, not what He created. It says, "For greatly is the Lord," and what?
And greatly to be praised.
Read on.
He also is to be feared above all gods.
It's not. The Bible's not saying that there's not other gods. People make gods, but the Most High is the Most High God. He's the Most High power. He said he is greatly to be feared above all what?
Gods.
Read on.
For all the gods of the people are idols.
He said every last one of the gods of the people that the nations worship are what?
Idols.
They're idols. Read on.
But the Lord made the heavens.
But who made the heavens?
The Lord.
Who should get the credit for the moon?
The Most High.
Who should get credit for the sun?
The Most High.
Who should get credit for Saturn?
The Most High.
Who should get credit for Venus?
The Most High.
Jupiter,
The Most High.
Uranus,
The Most High.
Pluto,
The Most High.
Mercury,
The Most High.
Earth.
The Most High.
So he said he created the heavens. Read on.
Verse 27. It says, glory and honor
It says glory and honor. Read on.
are in his presence.
Go ahead.
Strength and gladness are in his place.
Read on.
Give unto the Lord, ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Lord glory and strength.
Read on.
Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name.
It says give unto the Lord the glory that's due unto his name. Every time we observe one of these customs that the nations created, which are in the formation of idols, in the purpose of serving idols, we're robbing the Most High of his what?
His glory.
We're robbing the Most High of his glory. Every time we put up that damn Christmas tree that has nothing to do with Christ, we rob the Most High of his what?
Glory.
Every time we put lights up outside and put the snowman outside and put Frosty on the roof and Rudolph and all these other characters, we're taking the credit from who?
Most High.
Because the origin of it has nothing to do with the Most High. It said we got to put some respect on his name. Read that verse.
First Chronicles
28
chapter 16 and verse 20.
or 29.
It's 29. It says, give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name.
Read on.
Bring an offering. It says, and come before him. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness.
It says worship the Most High in the beauty of holiness. This is not what the nations do. Go to Hosea chapter 4 verse 12. Go to Hosea chapter 4 verse 12.
Hosea chapter 4 verse 12.
Let that go in Chronicles. Go to Hosea chapter 4 verse 12. Yes, sir.
All right. Hosea chapter 4 and verse 12 reads, my people ask counsel at their stocks.
He said, my people will worship anything. That's how simple we are as a people. A stock is a piece of wood. We'll put a tree in the house and act as if it's spiritual or it's holy or it has some type of godly representation. He said that's how simple his people are. That's how simple the children of Israel are. We believe anything that the nations give us. Whatever day they make up, we'll observe it. They have St. Patrick's Day, and you gotta wear green,
Or you gonna get pinched.
or you gonna get pinched if you're not wearing green. And what do? We so foolish. We'll tape $1 to our damn shirt while we at school or at work. See, I got on my green.
Got it.
You got my green. You can't pinch me. What the hell are you doing worshiping this anyway? Or you got a 4-leaf, or you got a shirt that got a 4-leaf clover on it. That's a damn shrub. A clover is a shrub. You worshiping grass?
Yeah, people do.
You got a 4-leaf clover shirt on, so you can't get pinched. Look how full. He said, "My people will do what?" Read that again in Hosea chapter 4.
My people ask counsel at their stuff.
He said they'll put up a tree and worship it and ask for advice. That's how simple our people are. We'll do anything. We'll erect something to worship. We'll make something special that ain't even special. We'll create something and say that's special.
Rabbit's foot.
A rabbit's foot. That's special. That's a lucky rabbit's foot. You know what I'm saying? We'll say anything. That's a lucky coin. You know what I'm saying? We do anything, but our people are superstitious in this way. Read on.
My people ask counsel at their stocks,
Read on.
and their staff declareth unto them.
And they'll speak to whatever object that they put up in their house. They'll erect anything. Read on.
For the spirit of whoredoms have caused them to err.
And he says that's actually that idolatry is a spirit of whoredom. We'll go worship anything that anybody tell us and give us. Have we ever stopped to ask, is the Most High really about Christmas? Is the Most High really about Thanksgiving? Is he really about Halloween? Is he really about New Year's Day? Is the Most High really about St. Patrick's Day? Is the Most High really about these days? Is he really about Easter? I should be able to go to the Bible and find out. He said, but this is the nature of us as a people. Go to Acts chapter 17, verse 22. Go to Acts chapter 17, verse 22.
Acts 17 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill.
He said, then Paul, where is Mars Hill? Mars Hill, obviously, he's in Greece, Macedonia, you know, in Europe, Eastern Europe. He said in Mars Hill, go ahead.
And said, ye men of Athens.
Of Athens, Greece, right? He's in Athens, Greece. So the Grecians worshipped all the gods.
Come.
They had a pantheon of gods that they worshiped. So this is Paul in Athens, Greece. The same place, if you got time, go look up the Temple of Delphi. These were temples that we would go to get oracles, to speak to an oracle to get answers. This is where Alexander the Greek had sought the oracles at the Temple of Delphi in Athens, Greece, to find out if it was a time to go to war or not. And it's not a coincidence that the place that Paul is standing on at this time is called Mars Hill. Mars is the Greek god of what? War. And when you look at the images of Mars, he's holding a shield and he's holding a spear. He's the god of war. So it's no wonder that Alexander the Greek, known as Alexander the Great in 333 BC, would be in Athens to go to the temple to speak to the oracles, to give him a revelation, to find out if it was necessary to go to war. But obviously he was worshiping who? He was pursuing answers from who? From Mars, which is the Greek god of war. Read on.
I perceive that in all things ye are too.
You got to read louder.
Right.
You gotta read.
I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious.
What did Paul say in Athens?
I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious.
He says, at all things, he said, I perceive that thou art what?
Superstitious.
He says, in all things. Paul's telling us, listen, in every aspect of how we look at the Most High, we're what?
Superstitious.
We're superstitious.
God.
You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah.
He said,
Rabbit's foot, that
a rabbit's foot. Yeah, God, we like checking out. Shalom, Miss Dorothy Brandt. Shalom, sister. He says in all things, he said we're what?
Superstitious.
We're superstitious, man. That's the nature of our people. Read on.
For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with the inscriptions, to the unknown God.
Our people will erect a statue and put the name or the title under the statue, what?
To the unknown God.
To the unknown God. We'll make a statue to a no-name God. We'll just say, you know what? I'm going to erect this statue. We don't even know who this statue is. But we're going to say, whoever it is, whoever you are,
We'll worship
we're
you.
going to worship you. God.
On definition of superstition, it says irrational fear of what is unknown.
He said irrational fear, what?
Of what is unknown.
Go ahead.
Or mysterious.
He said anything that's mysterious or unknown, he said we'll have an irrational fear of it. Man, it doesn't make sense of why we would even observe these days. Simply because, or in our cases, because it was given to us as kids.
Nope, I got one more.
God.
It says a superstition, definition number 2. Any blindly accepted belief or notion.
It says any what?
Any blindly accepted belief or notion.
So if I accept these beliefs, but I'm blind about it, meaning I don't go educate myself on it. I don't go study the origin on it. I don't go study the root of it. Where did it come from? Why is it so important to my family? Why is my family make it such a big deal around these seasons to put up a Christmas tree? Why does all my uncles and aunts and cousins and all my family members, my mother, my father, grandma, grandpa, why does everybody observe these holidays? You got another definition?
This was fire. Superstition, a belief or notion not based on reason or knowledge in or of the ominous significance of a particular thing.
It says, read the first part again.
A belief or notion not based on reason or knowledge.
It says it's not based on reason, it's unreasonable, it's irrational, it's not based on knowledge of what?
Or knowledge in or of the ominous significance of a particular thing.
And so it's showing you that people will without knowledge or significance, they'll still honor something that makes no damn sense.
Come.
And this is what Paul is addressing right here in Acts. So read that again.
From the top.
Yeah.
For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God.
He says Paul's found a subscription and a statue that was relegated, erected, and placed in honor of who?
The unknown God.
And that was the title of the inscription. We don't even know who you are, but we'll still worship you. That's the irrationality or the foolishness of our people without worshiping something without facts. We believe anything. And that's what the Most High is trying to show us. Why are we worshiping something that the nation set up and we don't even question it?
Sodom's children, man.
Come. Read on.
Come.
Whom therefore ye ignorantly.
He says, whom therefore ye what?
Ignorantly.
Do what?
Worship.
You do this with what?
Ignorance.
We celebrate Christmas with what?
Ignorance.
Ignorance, man. Why the hell are you making it a big deal to go spend money to go buy a damn tree, chop it up, or have it chopped up, or get a fake one at that? To go get a damn plastic tree. And matter of fact, in Dallas, right now they just erected the largest Christmas tree in the United States. It has like 1,400 branches, and it takes like 100 people to decorate. And it's the largest indoor tree on record in Dallas. Right now they got it going up.
Trash.
It's the largest.
2020 has been crazy.
That's a lot of people. Hell yeah, that's a lot of people put to work to put up this tree. And they feel special about it. They feel devoted because we got the largest. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
What, brother?
Yeah, they feel extra special that they got a record-setting tree inside their house. It's foolish. You know what I'm saying? But he said, ignorantly you do what?
Worship.
Go ahead.
Him declare I unto you, the Most High that made the world.
He's trying to convince the people that it's not the gods of these other nations that got you celebrating these holidays that you should be giving your respect to. It's not these gods that created these holidays that you should be honoring and representing. You know, he said, read on.
The Most High that made the world and all things therein.
He said the Most High made the world and all things therein. Go ahead.
Seeing that he is Lord of heaven and earth.
Go ahead.
Dwelleth not in temples made with hands.
So there's nothing you can do that's made with hands that you can that can give honor and respect to the Most High. But yet we will foolishly, ignorantly set up these idols, these statues, these trees, and put up all these different things in the yard and maintain these customs and think that has something to do with the Most High. And that's ignorance. That's foolishness. Now go back to Jeremiah chapter 10.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2.
What do you want verse 1 again?
Start at verse 2.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2. Hear ye the word. Oh, Slakia. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
The Most High said, do not adopt, do not learn, do not propose or establish any of the ways of the heathen. Don't follow them. But a lot of times our people are bent on tradition. We're bent on the idea that this has some relevance. It's important to the Most High. He said, don't learn the what?
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Go ahead.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
It says, for the what?
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
They pay honor to the stars. They pay respect to the creation of the Most High.
Come.
Read on.
For the customs of the people are vain.
The customs of the people are what?
Vain.
It's useless. It does you no good. So as we go into these holidays that people are so instinctive to follow and eager to follow and worship, the Most High said, make sure you don't have nothing to do with it. Make sure you don't initiate any of the similitude or represent any of the notions of the origin of where it comes from. Read on.
It says, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe.
So he said, if this is not Christmas, then you have to show this to your people. Because a lot of people, when it comes to seeing Christmas in the Bible, and when they see this part right here, they don't want to hear this. Now they're looking at you like you're trying to spoil the fun. You're trying to take away Christmas from the kids. You had fun. You enjoyed yourself. You didn't have a problem when you got gifts. You was a child. You didn't know better. But as an adult, you got to know, I'm not giving no gifts at this time of year. I'm not putting up a tree in my house. I'm not putting anything that has to do with what the idols do or the nations do to serve their idols. He said, this is the custom. One cutteth the what?
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold.
And they what?
They deck it with silver and with gold.
Silver bells. Silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. I'm telling you, as soon as Black Friday hit next week,
Hear them?
oh my gosh, bro. In the mall,
You don't hear them ring, huh?
you don't hear nothing but all the holiday Christmas carols. Mariah Carey's
She'll sing
Christmas,
crazy.
Nat King Cole,
Yeah.
Boys to men.
Boys to Men, Christmas edition.
You crying.
Everybody got one. Everybody got a Christmas album.
Ludacris got a Christmas.
I didn't even know Ludacris had one.
Wow.
I know Snoop had one too.
Yeah, Ludacris got one.
You know what I'm saying? Run DMC had one too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So everybody, all these people, rappers, singers, everybody got a Christmas song. Everybody released an album or a couple of songs that I ain't gonna say it, but I'm gonna shut up, man. My humor's about to come in. everybody has a song of preference that makes them feel spiritual for the season. Everybody has their eggnog.
Oh, yeah.
And they have their hot chocolate, and they have their mint cocos, their peppermint mochas, with the cookies with the little peppermint crumbles.
Gingerbread.
Oh, gingerbread, and you just feel better. You know, you got your cup, you got your Starbucks.
Don't
Don't
forget the pumpkin spice latte, man.
Gotta go with the pumpkin
Gotta
spice.
have
All of your
some
holiday
latte.
favorites. These are your holiday favorites. You know what I'm saying? The peppermint mochas. You know what I'm saying? The gingerbread spice. You just feel better. You just cold outside. And you're just cupping your cup with two hands. You just feel special. You know, you kind of sip the froth, the foam. You know, you just feel better.
This is crazy.
You know what I'm saying? You feel good with, just feel warm, and it just makes you feel warm on the inside. You see bums, you give them $1 or $2. Normally you wouldn't even act, you lock your doors, roll your window up. You know what I'm saying? But you just feel like, I just want to give. God bless you.
God bless you.
Today, yes.
Just today.
You know what I'm saying? Have a happy holiday. Merry Christmas, sir. May God be with you. This ain't got nothing to do with the Most High. He said this is vanity. He said it's useless.
Futile.
Right? He said, read verse 3 again.
It says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not.
Now, back in the old days, they didn't have a tree stand. They would just take the tree, cut it even at the bottom, and then hammer it down to the floor that it what? That it moved not. That's how they erected old trees. The initiation of putting a tree in your house, that's not new. That predated Christ. That has nothing to do with Christ. Putting a tree, cutting it down, and putting it in your house and decking it with silver and gold. This is a Babylonian custom. And when you look at the origin of this Babylonian custom, it's in celebration of Nimrod. It's in celebration of Nimrod and his mother Semiramis, which is also supposedly she wanted to keep Nimrod's legacy going, and she would instill fear in the people that if you didn't celebrate Christmas or the celebration of Nimrod, then the tree would fall on you. His spirit would be in the tree. And if you didn't observe Nimrod or fear him, the tree would fall on you. So that's why people put this tree up. And then that star that they put at the top of the tree, that's a star tape.
Oh.
That's and Semiramis' mother, she also said that Nimrod went to the heavens after he died and he'll return. And his star is the star of Saturn, which is also in Babylonian times also known as Tammuz in mythology. So the star of Tammuz, Nimrod, the star of Saturn, it's all in respect of him. And so that star also is her being Semiramis, or the queen of heaven, or Astarte. That's why they put the star right on top of the tree. It has everything to do with alternative ways of worship. But he said what? The Most High told Jeremiah to tell our people, don't follow these customs. Don't put the damn tree up. Don't put no damn stockings up. Don't put no stockings up. Don't put no gifts at the bottom. The gifts was symbolic of gifts that you gave to Nimrod. But modern day times, gifts are given to each other, but the cookies and milk you leave out for Santa Claus. And we have the nerve to feed our children with these lies. Read that again.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
It says this is why the nations will erect anything. The Most High knows that we will too. We'll erect anything and consider it holy. We'll erect anything and consider it spiritual. This is why the Most High said this. Go to Isaiah chapter 40 real quick. Isaiah chapter 40, start at verse 18.
Isaiah chapter 40, right?
Mm-hmm. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 18.
Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 18 reads, to whom then will ye liken the Most High?
And this is why the Most High has to ask this question. What did Isaiah chapter 40 verse 18 say?
To whom then will ye liken the Most High?
Whom will you compare to the Most High? Or by putting up a tree and decking it with silver and gold, is that have anything to do with the Most High? Is the eggnog, the gift giving, has anything to do with the Most High? Santa Claus, Rudolph, the snowman, the reindeer, A Christmas Story, all the movies that come out during the holiday season. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. All these movies are played religiously. Charlie Brown Christmas. All these things are played religiously in our upbringing. Christmas Story. All these things. We constantly get fed with these same things, these same routines year by year in and year out. He said, who are you comparing me to? Read on.
Or what likeness will ye compare unto him?
And the Most High knows that if we had a chance to see the Most High, that we would automatically start making figurines to imitate him and to give him somewhat of a superstitious way of worship. This is why the Most High would never show himself to us as a nation of people. The Most High always wanted us to worship him how? Go to St. John chapter 4, verse 23 and 24. Or St. John chapter 4, verse 24 first. Hold that where you at, my brother. We're coming right back to it.
St. John.
St. John chapter 4, verse 24.
St. John chapter 4, verse 21.
No, verse
24.
44. Slide.
24. 24.
St. John chapter 4, verse 24. The Most High is a spirit.
He said the Most High is a what?
A spirit.
So can you see a spirit? No. The Most High created it that way. The Most High understands that we're so superstitious as a people. We'll worship a tree. We'll worship anything. We'll make anything special. Anything. That's just the nature of who we are as a people. We're that simple. We're that foolish. And that ignorant. He said what?
The Most High is a spirit.
He said the Most High is a spirit. Go ahead.
And they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
And how must you worship the Most High?
In spirit and in truth.
You got to worship the Most High in spirit and in truth, which is by way of the word and belief and faith in him. By the word. So you can't see the Most High. The Most High makes it that way on purpose. Because he understands the simplicity of our people. Go back to Isaiah chapter 40, verse 18.
Come. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 18. To whom then will ye liken the Most High? Or what likeness will ye compare unto him?
And this is the problem that the Most High has with us. Instead of worshiping the Most High in spirit, which is how we're supposed to worship the Most High according to the word, according to the scriptures, we go create a tradition or a custom, and we say that that is spiritual. That custom is spiritual. This tradition is spiritual. Read on.
The workman melteth a graven image, and the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains.
And this is why our people will go put a Jesus piece on their neck, as if it has anything to do with the Most High Christ. That's the foolishness of our people. We'll go put a Jesus piece on as if this will protect me, or I got Christ with me, or I'll wear a cross, because that's what I used to do in the world. I used to wear the gold cross, because you know what? I wanted to celebrate the idea that I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And in my ignorance, I thought that me putting on this gold chain and me having the cross on my chest was signifying Christ, that I'm a believer. Not according to the scriptures. But, you know, I had a cross on, but I had a blunt in my other hand. You know what I'm saying?
I had the rosary out.
We had the rosary beads, you know what I'm saying? But you selling dope. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's showing that's the confusion of our people. We'll sit back and think that this image or this particular piece that I went and got custom made or I bought from the jeweler, that this is relevant to the Most High. That it's going to protect me. It has some type of power. That as long as I got my cross, I got to put my cross on. Because I can't leave the house without my cross. My cross is my protection. Man, please. That's man-made. That's not how the Most High wants you to worship him anyway. But that's what I would do. It wasn't until I came into this knowledge that I recognized that that cross is significant of his death. That's not the significance of a life in Christ. Why honor his death? Why honor how he was killed and represent how he was killed versus read about and imitate the lifestyle that he lived? Because
people got that zeal though.
They said we got zeal, but it's not according to what?
Knowledge.
It's not according to knowledge. Yes, sir.
I heard a saying said, if Christ died on an electric chair, would you rock that?
Yeah, Death Row Records. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Death Row Records got the Death Row chain on. You got to do it in an electric chair. Welcome to Death Row, right? You know what I'm saying? But they do that. That's how foolish our people are. It's the same thing as wearing a Death Row necklace with the dude in the electric chair. The same thing as wearing a cross. It's the same thing. It's a great point you said that, but it's the same thing. It means nothing to the Most High. It has absolutely no relevance to the Most High. Whether you go and put that tattoo on your chest, the rosary beads, whether you're wearing rosary beads, all of this has nothing to do with the Most High. Oh, I got the What Would Jesus Do bracelet. Go ahead.
And the goldsmith spreadeth it over with gold, and casteth silver chains. He that is so impoverished.
And the scriptures call a man that would do this, a man that would pick up these customs and celebrate something that's so foolish or ignorant or superstitious, he calls this man what?
Impoverished.
This man is impoverished. Because what this man lacks is understanding. What this man lacks is truth. What this man lacks is knowledge. Read on.
That he have no oblations, chooseth a tree that will not rot.
And because this man is impoverished, because he has no knowledge on how to truly honor the Most High. And that's what happens when we don't have this knowledge. When we don't have the right knowledge to honor the Most High, we're left to make up our own beliefs. Or we're left to adopt the beliefs of the other nations who are idols, who are Gentiles, who are heathens, non-believers. That's what happens when we're impoverished and we lack understanding and we don't know how to please the Most High. We'll create an idea of what it is to serve the Most High. We'll create an idea of the Most High is going to take honor in this and he'll take pleasure in what I'm doing. I'm going to pour out a little liquor for the dead homies. And this is in respect of my homies, my dead homies. I'm going to pour out a little liquor. So we think that the Most High is also signifying in the pouring out of drink that's how you honor your fallen comrades. We'll do that as something spiritual. We'll go get tattooed tears on. If that's spiritual. There's a lot of things that we do not understanding that the Most High is not caring about that. That's not how you show the Most High that you love him. That's not how you show the Most High that you care. But that's what an ignorant person will do. Either you will create your own superstition, you'll create your own idol, or you'll adopt the idols of the other nations. Yeah. So read that part in verse 8, verse 2.
That is so impoverished that he have no oblation.
Meaning oblation is something to offer the Most High. If I don't know how to offer the Most High thanksgiving and honor and respect and praise, I'll do what?
Chooseth a tree that will not rot.
I'm gonna go do what Jeremiah said that for us not to do. I'm gonna go pick up a tree that won't what?
That will not rot.
And what is a tree that stays green year round?
Evergreen.
It's called an evergreen tree. I'm gonna go pick out an evergreen tree, a pine tree. Stays it even in the snow it stays green. A tree that won't rot. Go ahead.
He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image.
And an axeman, a man with an axe, or a lumberjack is what we call him nowadays. A lumberjack, he seeketh the lumberjack to go out to the woods and go find me a tree. Go cut a tree down so I can bring it back to my house. This is what people do when they don't know how to serve the Most High properly. This is what they do. Go ahead.
That shall not be moved.
That shall not be moved. Hold that and go back to Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 3.
Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
Read on.
For one cutteth a tree.
Same thing we're reading right here in Isaiah. Go ahead.
Out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen.
And that workman is a lumberjack. Go ahead.
With the axe.
With the axe. Go ahead.
They deck it with silver and with gold.
And this is what I do when I don't know how to really give the Most High his credit. This is what I do when I don't know how to give the Most High an oblation. I pick up a vain custom when I really don't read the Bible. If I read the Bible, I wouldn't be doing this. If I read the Bible, I would know that the Most High said, do not follow or learn the customs of the heathen. But through ignorance, we pick up foolishness. Read on.
It says, they fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
That it move what?
Not.
And we go put this on the tree stand. Now go back to Isaiah chapter 40 and read on.
Come. He seeketh unto him a cunning workman to prepare a graven image that shall not be moved. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Have it not been told you from the beginning?
Have you not known from the beginning that damn celebration of Christmas has nothing to do with the Most High? That's an old custom that predated Christ. The custom of Christmas, or the worship of the god Nimrod and Babylonian customs, predated Christ. And to help assist with the history of it, we're going to go to, not only is it wrong in Jeremiah, Jeremiah was alive 500 years. He wrote this 500 years before Christ was born. People had already been putting up Christmas trees and decking it with silver and gold. But you know what we do in the hood? We don't got real silver and real gold like they did in Babylon. In Babylon, they put real silver balls and real gold balls on the tree. You know what we do? We put popcorn up. We put popcorn string on the damn tree. We go get a $2 box of tinsel, and we sprinkle it with plastic tinsel, shiny plastic tinsel, and we put that all over the tree. It makes it, ooh, look how pretty that is. Then you take a picture of it, and then you go to the mall. Then you go put your kids on Santa Claus lap. No, damn well you don't even know where this guy came from.
Could be anybody.
That guy just got out the joint, and that's why his beard is out. He just got out the joint, and he has a record on it, and he's probably drunk. And you didn't put your kids on this man's lap and trying to get them to take pictures, but you tell your kids 364 days a year, don't talk to strangers. Don't approach strangers. But then on this day, you go put your kids on a stranger's lap who's sitting in front of the tree with his suit on, with these mittens on, you know what I'm saying, with this grin on his face, and you think that's spiritual.
It's for the kids.
It's for the kids, man.
That's why he's so red, because he's drunk.
He's drunk, man. It's not to be drunk and high.
Come.
But this is what we do. You had something, y'all out?
No. I was going to drink different example. It's okay. Go ahead.
But he said, have ye not known, read verse 21?
Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Have it not been told you from the beginning?
Don't you know from the beginning that this ain't nothing new? This predated Christ. And to show that, we're going to go to a book called The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop. And in the book, The Two Babylons, we're going to read, now we guys going to read real quick, go to page 93. And so if you don't have, I tell you, if you don't have this book, please go get this book, because it's a great historical narrative on the adoption of paganistic cult customs that were adopted by the Roman Catholic Church to assemble the pagans and the heathens and join them to the church without making them feel like they have to give up their paganistic customs, so, and still be accepted in the church. So we're going to read page 93, and we're going to read also page 114, just a little bit about the origin of where this came from and why it was so initiated by the church, because that's where we get this from. Because our pastor got us singing Christmas songs. The choir is singing Christmas songs. Everybody's dressing up. They got a Christmas tree in the church. If you got a Christmas tree in the church, then you need to run.
Yeah.
You need to run, and run fast. You need to run quick, because somebody's not telling you the truth. Somebody has us adopting a way or a custom that the Most High said is vain and useless, that has nothing to do with him. That means that the preacher or teacher of the scripture is not showing you the origin of these paganistic customs. You need to run. So in the Two Babylons, we're going to read real quick page 93 and page 114. Read this right here.
I got you. It's out.
Mm-hmm.
The Two Babylons, page 93. Within the Christian church.
Where?
Within the Christian church.
This is where a lot of these paganistic customs have been pushed. We learn them from church. We learn Easter from church. We learn Christmas from church. Go ahead.
No such festival as Christmas was ever heard of until the 3rd century.
Until when?
The 3rd century.
Until the 3rd century AD. This wasn't even when after Christ died, it still wasn't no Christmas. That's something that they made up. Read on.
And that not to the 4th century was far advanced, did it gain much observance.
Go ahead.
How then did the Roman Church fix on December the 25th as Christmas Day?
How did they do it? Read on.
Question.
That's a good question.
Why thus, long before the 4th century and long before the Christian era itself, a festival was celebrated among the heathens.
It was a what?
A festival was celebrated among the heathens.
The definition of heathen is people that non-Israelite people and people that do not believe in the God of the Bible. That's a definition of the word heathen. Read on.
At that precise time of the year, in honor of the birth of the son of the Babylonian queen of heaven, and it may fairly be presumed that in order to conciliate the heathen and to swell the number of the nominal adherents.
So it was a plot to get the numbers up in the church. How do you get the numbers up in the church? You tell people, come as you are. Bring your beliefs with you and we'll still accept you. So you can keep your heathenistic practice and still be a part of the church. That's done to accumulate what? Numbers. That's to make sure that you get your tithes up. Because the more people that you bring into the church, the more you tithe them, the more your money come up. That was a money plot. So if we let these people keep their paganistic customs that they learn from the nations, and we get them in the church, maybe somewhere down the line, we can meet them halfway with Christ. And if we can meet them halfway with Christ, we can get paid, and they can get the idea that they're still serving their gods and nothing has changed. It's a money plot. It's always been about the money. This is why people push the damn holiday season on you so heavy. That's why a lot of our people feel guilty when they don't buy nothing for Christmas. They're made to feel guilty when you don't got no gifts for your kids. You feel guilty when you ain't got no money. Christmas, you be in debt. Our people go in debt on Christmas debt, and it takes a whole nother year. We try to get out of debt with the income tax. We try to buy ourselves out of debt. You know what I'm saying? They set it up. They set it up for you to give your money for Christmas, which stimulates the economy, and then we'll hopefully give it back to you during income tax. Crazy. It's all about the money. But read on.
To conciliate the heathen and to swell the number of the nominal adherents of Christianity.
Right.
The same festival was adopted by the Roman Church.
Go ahead.
Giving it only the name of Christ.
All the Roman Church did was take this festival and they decided through council that we're going to call this day Christ Mass. Christmas. That's all the Roman Church did. They took a paganistic custom and changed the name and fed it to our people. And we still follow it to this day. How strong of an influence has that had on our people that has survived the last 1700 years? That's how strong this damn festival has been going on. It's actually been going on since the time of Nimrod. And we're going to get into that too. But why do we call it Christmas? Where did it come from? Where did the origin come from? Read on.
This tendency on the part of the Christians to meet paganism halfway was very early.
What was the idea of adding Christ to this festival, this paganistic festival? Was to meet so-called Christians what?
This tendency was on the part of Christians to meet paganism halfway.
Now, you know that the Most High says don't follow the customs of the heathens. He said you cannot drink the cup of the devils and drink the cup of the Lord. The Most High ain't trying to meet you halfway with no idolatrous heathenistic practices. He don't want you to meet halfway. But this was something done by the Roman Catholic Church in order to bring us into the numbers and build their congregation up and make us feel special, that God is still accepting of us. Read on.
Was very early developed, and we found Tertullian even in this day about the year of 2230.
Okay, jump down to this part right here.
Boom. That Christmas was originally a pagan festival.
It's telling you that Christmas was originally a what?
Pagan festival.
It's a pagan festival. Do not put up no tree. Do not put up no lights. Do not put up no snowman, snowflakes, reindeer. You know,
no gingerbread cookies.
No gingerbread cookies.
Like the day before Christmas.
Yeah, because that's the time the oven is hot, bro.
Okay, well, like 3 days before Christmas.
About 3 days, because leading up to Christmas, you got Thanksgiving. People gonna eat big. You know what I'm saying? And then Christmas, that's when everybody come, and that's when you get the chitlins, especially for our people.
I just want the gingerbread cookie and milk.
Cookies and milk and cookies.
Like a week before the day.
Ginger snaps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All of this is part of the custom. But he said we're reading the origin of it. He said this is a pagan festival.
Even if I eat the cookies like a week Year and a half before the day comes.
You know, we're gonna get to that too. Because you know what? There's a time, there's a mentality that we should have going into this. Read on. I like what you're saying though.
The time of the year and the ceremonies which it is still celebrated prove its origin.
It says the time of the year and how it's celebrated proves its origin. Go ahead.
In Egypt, the sons of Isis, the Egyptian title for the Queen of Heaven.
And it still represents the Egyptian god, the Babylonian god. It's still the Canaanite god, the Phoenician
crazy.
god, the Roman god, the Greek god. All the gods just changed names based on the culture that worshipped them. But the festival itself, it's still the same. Go ahead.
Was born at the very time, about the time of winter solstice.
So the idea of Christmas is about celebration of winter solstice. That's when the nights are longer than the days. The days are short. You ever notice how it get dark at like 5:30? Like when about 5:30 right now, it's already getting dark. In the summertime, you hoop until about 9. You might even get 9:30 with no lights. You know what I'm saying? With no street lights. It's still, because you can still see a little bit of light in the distance. You're still shooting. But you notice how right now, by 5:30, it's already dark outside. Well, pagans believe that the sun was dying and the sun has to be reborn. So the idea of Christmas is a practice in worship of the sun in order to hope that it returns and is born again. That is born again so that the days will come back. The sun will come back. It's ridiculous. But when you get a chance, look into Saturnalia. And we're not going to make it about the whole worship of it. But we understand it because we've been here in America still living these customs. We've all seen these customs. They're all before our eyes. But you have to know the truth of them when you see them. You got to see the superstition involved. You got to see how the Most High said, don't learn these things. These have nothing to do with me. So put that down for a second. Let that go. And go back to where we was at in Isaiah chapter 40. Verse 21.
Verse 21 reads, Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Have it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth?
It's never been about us following other gods. It's always about us serving the Most High and giving Him His credit. Read on.
It is He that sitteth upon the circle of the earth.
It's the Most High that you should pay homage to. Read on.
And the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers.
Go ahead.
That stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain.
He says the Most High said He stretches out the heavens as a what?
Curtain.
What's the purpose of a curtain in your house?
Conceal.
It's to conceal what?
What's inside?
What's inside from outside. So it's to separate what's going on outside from inside. That's an enclosure so that you know whatever's going on in your home is not seen on the outside, and people on the outside can't see what's going on the inside. So the Most High said He separated us from the heavens the same way. He spread out a curtain so that you cannot see Him. See, the Most High. So what we do is the heathens, in their idea of a God, they'll make one. But the Most High said, listen, I'll make a curtain because I don't want you to see me. Because I want you to worship in spirit. I don't want you to worship in the form of a man-made custom.
I don't have to believe anymore because I can see.
I can see you.
I believe him.
But that's not exactly. I can see this. I can see this figurine. I can see this tree. I can see this necklace. I can see these earrings with the cross dangling on them. I can see these things. So therefore, I'm done in my worship. I've done my part. The Most High said He spread out the heavens and He's made a curtain so that we cannot see Him. And let's go into this a little bit. He said, read that part again.
That stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in.
It says, and spread it out as a tent to dwell in. The Most High don't want you to see where He dwells. He wanted a curtain to be there. Go to Job chapter 22, verse 14. Job chapter 22, verse 14.
Job chapter 22, verse 13.
14.
Job chapter
I got you,
22, verse 14. Thick clouds are a covering to him.
The Most High said what?
Thick clouds are a covering to him.
The Most High don't want you to see outside of the earth. He wants you to focus on what you got going on in the earth. He don't want you observing the stars as far as worshiping them. He don't want you to observe what he's doing and trying to mimic or imitate him. He said thick clouds are what?
A covering to him that he seeth not.
The Most High don't want you to see him. He wants you to worship him in spirit. Read on.
And he walketh in the circuit of heaven.
And he said, the Most High walketh in the circuit of heaven. He said, the Most High said, heaven is my throne and the earth is my what?
Footstool.
The earth is my footstool. Stay in Job. Go to Job chapter 26, verse 7. He said, he walketh about in the circuit of heaven.
Job chapter 26, verse 7.
Read that.
He stretcheth out the north over the empty place,
Go ahead.
and hangeth the earth upon nothing.
He said the Most High hung the earth upon what?
Nothing.
The Most High said he got the earth floating on nothing. It's sitting in just space. But read on.
He bindeth up the waters in his thick clouds.
Go ahead. So so he said he got us sitting on earth, and he got clouds around earth, because we're not supposed to worry about, as far as trying to observe him. We're supposed to be worried about what's going on on earth. That's not what NASA says, though. That's not what the space station is about. It's not what the Hubble telescope is about. That's not what us trying to make a settlement on and terraform Mars and try to habitate the stars.
He's trying to sell it out. He's trying to sell it out.
It's still in Esau and the rest of the nations to conquer, to colonize other planets, to colonize parts of heaven.
Gone.
That's still their attempt to colonize and to conquer what hasn't been conquered yet. Because everything on earth pretty much has been conquered.
To go boldly where no man has gone before.
Yeah, that's the idea. We're going to conquer the heavens.
Gone.
Well, the Most High said, "Listen, man, I made a thick cloud, so you don't observe what's going on in the heavens." Read on.
And the cloud is not rent under them.
Go ahead.
He holdeth back the face of his throne.
He said he does what?
He holdeth back the face of his throne.
The Most High don't want you to see his throne. It's not meant for us to see him and to worship him by the physical eye. Man wants something to worship. Man wants something they can see. They only want to worship a God they can see. And that's not how the Most High set it up. He said he covered the face of his what?
Throne.
Go ahead.
And spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath compassed the waters with bounds until the day and night come to an end.
Now go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 14. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 14. So us erecting these customs in honor of Nimrod, who worships the stars, putting a star on top of the tree to worship a star tape, has nothing to do with the Most High. Read Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 14.
Deuteronomy.
This is why the Most High doesn't want us to see him. Read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 14.
Go ahead.
And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments.
He says the Most High taught us what?
Statutes and judgments.
Laws and commandments and punishments for not following these laws. Read on.
That ye might do them in the land where ye go over to possess it.
Go ahead.
Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb.
Horeb. He says, pay attention. Moses is telling the children of Israel, pay attention. There's a reason why the Most High spoke to you through fire. There's a reason why the Most High didn't let you see him when he spoke to you. When the Most High spoke to the children of Israel, he spoke out of the midst of a flame when the mountains of Horeb were on fire. He never showed the children of Israel himself. He never gave them an image. He never gave them an identity. All they heard was the Most High's voice. He wanted it this way. That's why Moses is reminding the children of Israel, Pay attention to what the Most High was doing when he was speaking to you. He never wanted you to see him with the physical eye. He never wanted you to erect something in honor of him. A piece of wood or a tree or a shrub or a branch. Read on.
It says, in Horeb, out of the midst of the fire, lest ye corrupt yourselves.
It says if the children of Israel would have caught a glimpse of the Most High, we would have done what?
Corrupt yourselves.
How would the children of Israel corrupt themselves if we would have got a chance to see the Most High with our own two eyes?
And make you in graven image.
As soon as we saw the Most High, somebody would have been cutting up some wood.
Quickly.
As soon as and putting them on sale.
Piece of change.
Piece and chain, bro. Charms. James Avery. I got all the charms, man. I got charm bracelets. I got the Most High's earlobes. I got his nose. I got the Most High's eyes.
On the neck and the back.
Yeah, I got the Most High's hair. I got the Most High's chariot that he rides in. I got the angels that surround the Most High. I would have all of my charms, man. Listen, man, you know how we do it. We hustle. Man, get your charms, man. Get your charms. Get your popcorns and your peanuts. We be hustling, man. You don't feel safe unless you got your piece on. You know what I'm saying? We hustle. But this is what the Most High knows about us. The minute that he would have revealed himself to us, we would have been somewhere cutting up some wood, making pictures, statues, images, idols, trees, plaques, posters, paintings, drawings. You ever go to these Catholic bookstores?
Yes, scary.
You have every idol.
The Herbaria.
The Herbalaria.
Yeah.
You got every idol necessary for worship.
No menorah.
You got pictures. You got pictures. You got paintings. You got drawings. You got crosses. You got 1,000 different choices of crosses. You got the cross with the nails on them sticking out. You got the cross with the barbed wire ring on the top, that says Enri. You got all kind of crosses made from different shapes, different sizes, wood, stone, iron. So when you go to these stores, they're selling idolatrous objects that's supposed to represent the Most High. This is why the Most High said, I don't want to show you me. Because he knows the minute we see the Most High, somebody's starting to melt something down, somebody's starting to chop something up, or somebody's starting to draw images of the Most High and putting it on sale. That's how superstitious we are. Read on.
The similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female.
He said if the Most High would have appeared as a man, we'd be wearing God statues of men. We'd be putting up male statues of the Most High. If the Most High would have appeared to us as a female, we would have been worshiping a female statue. We do.
Just like how we worship Virgin Mary.
Yeah, right, exactly. We look for anything to worship. Read on.
It says, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth.
And if the Most High would have appeared as an animal,
we've worshiped a lot of animals
man.
like that.
It'll be if the Most High appeared as a giraffe. Everybody have giraffe necklace on.
Yeah.
Everybody be rocking giraffe. You know what I'm saying? Only giraffes can judge me.
Yeah.
Everybody got giraffe statues and emblems and bumper stickers. Man, what that giraffe for? Oh man, that new giraffe I got, man. That's the Most High with me at all times, man.
Looking down.
What would the giraffe do?
Yeah, what would the giraffe do? Because the Most High had a long neck. So the Most High had a long neck, so we would have giraffe statues, man. The Most High know this, man. He knows us all too well. That's why I said I'm not gonna show you me. I'm not gonna do it. Read on.
The likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air.
Man, the Most High said if I would have been a hawk or a chicken, a buzzard, everybody be worshiping these things. Read on.
The likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground.
A grasshopper, a cricket, a spider, a locust, a scorpion. Read on.
The likeness of any fish that is in the water.
And you know what? People still do this. They still put the fish on the back of their car. People ask, what do those fish represent? You ever seen a little fish? You got the big fish and then the little fish. It's supposed to represent who? Anybody know?
Aren't they supposed to initially represent the Most High and Christ? The big
It's supposed to
fish?
represent Christ.
Yeah, because Christ is the big fish and we're all the little fish.
Well, we're the little fish, the followers of Christ,
it's the
right?
move for that, the bracelet, the I am second. It's
Yeah.
along with that.
It's along with that movement. So people put the little fish on the back of the car, on the rear bumper. That's supposed to signify Christ. But when you look at what the Romans were
Where
doing,
does little fish and big fish come from?
you know what? It's the like you said, Christ and the followers. Or now people put it as, you know, I'm the child of Christ and these are my kids. We all follow Christ.
So it's just, it didn't derive from nothing. They just said this Christ is the big fish.
That fish god is the fish is the worship of Ashdod. That's the worship of Ashdod. In Ashdod, the children of Israel would erect a Dagon.
Yeah.
Dagon, the fish god.
That's the hat. That's the Catholic hat.
That's the Pope. That's the Pope hat that has the fish with the mouth open. That's in representation of Dagon.
What is the difference between that and then when he had the Star of David, the Hanukkah, the Lion of Judah?
Right. That's the titles that the Most High came in. He said the lion shall rise up out of the thicket. The destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. Somebody get that for me real quick. So it's in reference to a title that the Most High is or the Christ is known as. So read this right here just to answer your question. Get
It's
Jeremiah 4:7.
Jeremiah 4:7.
Jeremiah 4:7.
Yes.
Jeremiah 4:7. The lion is come up from his thicket.
This is in reference to Christ. This is a prophecy that Christ is going to rise up out of the thicket. Read on.
And the destroyer of the Gentiles.
And Christ is going to do what?
The destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way.
And this is a prophecy of the coming of Christ as being the Lion of the tribe of Judah, as being the lion that's going to come up and do what when Christ returns. He's known as a lion that's going to come and destroy the Gentiles. Christ is not coming in the form of peace and harmony. He's coming in the fashion of a lion to destroy the Gentiles. Read on.
He is gone forth from his place.
And this is when the Most High gives him the time, or the Most High gives him the signal to come out of heaven and descend down on earth and to repay all the ungodly. Go ahead.
To make thy land desolate.
And to do what?
Make thy land desolate.
So so when we read about these attributes of Christ, it just shows you a metaphor. It's a metaphor of what Christ is, how he's going to come as a lion that jumps up out of the thicket. A lion jumps up out of the thicket as a surprise. That's an element of surprise. But when Christ returns, he's coming back to surprise who? The Gentiles. He said the destroyer of the Gentiles. So these are just titles or attributes of Christ based on metaphors of how he's going to come and what he's going to do to tell his purpose. Now, as far as the menorah represents us at the Passover and the celebration of us lighting the candles. Because as part of the Passover, you know, it's known as the Feast of Dedication. I'm sorry. Or the Feast of Lights. That's Hanukkah, I'm sorry, not Passover. But in Hanukkah, it's known as the Feast of Lights or the Feast of Dedication. And that's when you rededicate the temple of the Most High. And one of the temple artifacts is the candlestick. That's one of the articles that belong on the altar, is the holy candlestick. You know what I'm saying? And then you have also the holy incense. These are things that belong to the temple. So what it represents is the children of Israel rededicating themselves back to the Most High. And Christ even followed the Feast of Dedication. I believe it's John chapter 10, verse 2. Somebody read that real quick.
John.
John chapter 10, verse 2.
I think it is. Hold on.
Here's the door by the shepherds.
No. I know it's John. Let me see. It's John what? It's John 10 and 22. Sorry, not 10 and 2, 10 and 22. Read that.
John chapter 10 and verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem the feast of the dedication.
And the Feast of Dedication was also known as the Feast of Lights. That's when you would light the candlestick. And so this is what Christ celebrated. These are part of our customs. Not Christmas, but the Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah, what we know as Hanukkah today. Read on.
And it was winter.
And it was what?
Winter.
So this is what we celebrated in winter. Not Christmas in winter. Not snowman in winter. It's showing you what we did honor. We honored the Feast of Lights or the Feast of Dedication, where we would light the 9-branch menorah. That's part of our custom. That's part of our culture. So that's where it comes from, to answer your question. All right. So go back to where we were in Deuteronomy. Yawab, I think you had that, right? Chapter 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 14. We're in 15 now, really. It says, Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire.
Read on.
Lest ye corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air, the likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, the likeness of any fish that is in the waters beneath the earth.
Go ahead.
It says, Unless thou lifted up thine eyes into heaven.
And if the Most High would have revealed himself to us, and we would have saw the Most High out of heaven. Read on.
And when thou seest the sun, and the moon, and the stars, even all the hosts of of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them.
It says, if the Most High would have appeared in the form of any one of these objects, we as people are so gullible and so superstitious, we wouldn't focus on the Most High. We would focus on the image in which he came or presented himself to us.
We missed the point. Huh?
We would miss the point. And that's why the Most High wouldn't allow us to see him. Read on.
It says, to worship them and to serve them, which the Lord thy power, or thy God, hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. But the Lord hath taken you and brought you forth out of the iron furnace, even out of Egypt, to be unto him a people of inheritance.
It says, but the Most High chose us unto him, not the rest of the nations. The rest of the nations worship the sun, moon, and stars. That's why even Allah in Arabic is the moon god. Because in Arabic, the sun is the female and the moon is the male.
It's backwards.
It's backwards. So, but many different customs and cultures celebrated Allah or the moon god as being the male god, and then the sun being the female god. That's where it comes from.
It's that little.
That's the origin of it.
Little tranny Bible.
God. But he says.
Yeah.
But he said the Most High. He said we would be driven to worship him. He said the same thing in Wisdom of Solomon. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Go to Wisdom of Solomon,
chapter 13.
chapter 13, verse 1.
Let go of Deuteronomy.
Yeah, let go of Deuteronomy.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature.
He says, surely what?
Surely vain are all men by nature.
He says, men are vain by what?
Nature.
By nature, man. That's the last thing the Most High was going to do. Men will worship nonsense. The last thing the Most High was going to do was to reveal himself to us so that we can have these statues thinking that it would have something to do with the Most High. That's the last thing the Most High was going to do. We're vain by nature. We'll follow anything that means nothing by nature. That's why Paul was saying in Acts 17 when he was on Mars Hill, why are you celebrating a statue that's erected to an unknown God? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting up damn trees in your house? As if that has any reverence to do with the Most High. He said, we are vain by nature. Read on.
Who are ignorant of the Most High.
And we're vain by nature because what?
Who are ignorant of the Most High.
Because we're ignorant of the Most High. just because the Most High didn't show himself to us doesn't mean he doesn't exist. So what we do is we go looking for something that reminds us of God. We go looking for something that plays the role of God on earth, that we'll give credit to, and not the Most High himself. That's the ignorance and foolishness that we possess. We'll look at a tortilla, and if it looks like it has the Virgin Mary in the tortilla,
Don't throw it away.
you're going to have 1,000 people at your doorstep that want to bless and want to take pictures and want to behold the image of Virgin Mary in the tortilla.
It's a real thing, huh?
This is real. It's people that they have seen the Virgin Mary on a screen door. And the reflection of the screen, when you turn it at a certain angle, it looks like a Virgin Mary is coming out of the screen door.
Uh-huh.
So you have thousands of followers that come up and bless that house and bless that screen door. That's us. That's what we do.
Then they start charging at the steps.
They start charging at the steps. Or our people are so vain, we'll go buy some fake holy water on TV.
That's been out for a long time now.
That's snake oil, man.
Yeah.
They said, we'll do that. We'll buy some fake holy water and sprinkle it on everybody. You know what I'm saying? But that's how we do. That's what we do. That's how vain we are as people, thinking that the Most High is with this. He says, but we're ignorant of the Most High. That's not how you serve the Most High. That's not how you commemorate the Heavenly Father. Read on.
And could not out of the good things that are seen know him.
It says, but and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. He says, what it takes to know the Most High is that you have to have a healthy understanding of his word. That's how you get to know the Most High. That's how you come out of ignorance. You submit yourselves to the knowledge of the Most High. You just can't observe the Most High in his creation and expect that that is the Most High. You can't say, well, because God created everything, God is in the butterflies, he's in the trees, he's in the flowers, he's in the mountains, he's in the heavens. So what we'll do as people is we'll worship the creation because God made a woman. So she is God.
Yeah.
Man, oh
They
my
do that.
gosh, man.
They do that, huh?
You know what? There's so many women worshiping cults that exist. Isis, the mother god, the queen of heaven. It's always about worshiping the woman. That's what R&B is about.
Yeah.
R&B is about singing to a woman and the love I have for a woman. I got a whole class that's going to demonstrate that R&B worship.
Yeah.
Which we're waiting on.
It will get soon. Hey, I'm warming it up. I'm stirring the pot right now.
God.
I got a whole class on that. All of them. We ain't gonna get into it because there's a whole bunch of them. But all of it is the worship of the woman. Whether it's her ability to bring forth children, or her being the strength of the matriarch of the head of the house, Big Mama's house, or her being the mother, the glue that keeps the house together, or the one that I could always, dear mama. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's always the mother. It's always the woman in essence. But anything that us as a people, we will adopt anything on earth and say, because God created it, then we must observe it. Because it's part of his creation. But the Most High said, you cannot know me completely by observing my creation. You have to get to know me by word. You got to get to know me by doctrine. You got to get to know me by knowledge. You just can't get to know me by the observance of what I created. Read on.
And could not out of the good things that are seen
Go ahead.
know him.
You can't get to know the Most High based off the things that you see with your eyes. A lot of nations and a lot of cultures have a physical God that they worship, which is idolatry. A lot of nations have an image of God that they worship, which is idolatry. A lot of nations have a similitude of what they think is Christ, which is idolatry. He said, you cannot get to know me by what I made and think because you've seen it with your eyes that that's me. I'm greater than that. Read on.
Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work mastered.
Even if you become a biology major, you cannot understand God. Even if you become a marine biologist and you study the ocean, you cannot understand the Most High. You can become an astrologer or worship or become a NASA damn pilot. You will still not understand the Most High. He said there's nothing you can study or look at or do or see and get a complete understanding of me. We understand that? So even people that say, well, God is in everything, so why don't I just worship what he created? You still short on understanding God. You still coming up short. You still don't understand him completely and how he thinks. Read on.
But deem neither fire.
But it said, but instead, people deem what?
Fire.
They look at fire. Well, God created fire, so fire should be worshipped. That's why in every religion, or not say religion, every nation has a paganistic deity who is the god of fire.
God.
They have a god of fire for every paganistic nation. All the nations have a god that they give credence to or worship to bring fire, or the hopes of making the hearth, which is called the hearth. There is a god of the hearth. The hearth is the oven or the stove that warms the house. In Rome, they have a goddess for the sewer system.
Come on, man.
There's a goddess that controls the sewer. Her name is Cloacina. She's the goddess of the sewer. I guess if you don't pay homage to Cloacina, your toilet gonna get backed up.
Yeah. That's a bad one.
Cloacina is angry. So now you got toilet paper coming out your toilet. And some other stuff coming out your toilet. Because you didn't honor Cloacina. Because she's the goddess of the drain. Or goddess. There's a god for every damn thing. And this is why the Most High said that's foolishness. You can't deem fire. What else? Go ahead.
Or wind. Or the swift air.
Go ahead.
Or the circle.
And you know what they call the swift air? That's the damn winds that come out of California. The damn El Nino. We call them winds El Nino. The damn storm. Yeah, the wind that come in, that blow in. It's called El Nino, right? Out of California.
No, that's the Santa Ana. El Nino is when it rains for 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Then what's the Santa Ana wind?
That Santa Ana wind is just Santa Ana, the winds that come out of Santa Ana Mountain.
Yeah, there's a name for them though. There's a name for them, but we'll give a name to a weather pattern. Tropical storm Hugo, tropical storm Charlie, tropical storm what's the one that hit Katrina?
Yeah.
Hit New Orleans. Katrina and Rita, back to back. Man, we'll give credit and give these things names. And the Most High said, damn, you don't understand me then. If you're naming these hurricanes, these tropical depressions, and these fires, then you don't understand me. People have no idea about who he is.
The Santana ones?
The Santa Ana winds.
Okay.
Read on.
Or the circle of the star.
Or if you got a name for the stars, he said, and you're paying homage to them, Zeus, Kronos, Saturn, all these are Roman and Greek gods. Nimrod, yes.
No, I was gonna say you got people that buy stars too. Like that's my star in the sky. You got people that like that too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they name it the clock in time clock.
Yeah.
After Chronos. That's what it's called, Chronos.
Yeah, chronography. Time, the god of time. Chronos. You know what I'm saying? Chronography.
Living in a God-filled world.
Yeah, everything we do has a god attached to it.
God.
And the Most High said, by honoring these things, you can't know me. Read on.
So that's what they
get. No, go ahead. What you got to say?
On the dollar bill when they say, in God we trust.
Which one? Huh?
That's what they said. But they was just been saying, just pick one. Like
Yeah, there's a God of money. That's the god of capital is Saturn. Saturn is the Roman god of capital. That's the Roman god of currency.
Wow.
This is when, and in honor of Saturn, you had a festival called Saturnalia. Saturnalia is when all the laborers and the postmen, the people that did mail during the time of Rome, that passed out mail in the time of Rome, that's when they were able to get off work. Sound familiar? That's when schools were closed. Sound familiar? That's when the servant reversed roles with his boss, and he got to be the boss for that week. and that's how you observe. That's how they observe the Roman god Saturn. That he had his own holiday called Saturnalia. And guess when Saturnalia started? December 25th. Sound familiar?
What a coincidence.
Coincidence or not a coincidence? You know what I'm saying? So what it's showing you is these holidays have nothing to do with the Most High. In every way that this world observes the Most High is false. He said the circle of the stars. He said you can't see me by studying the stars. You're not gonna get to know me fully. But you got these damn Scientologists that believe that God is the universe. God is in the universe, so speak to the universe. Yes.
Do you have Romans 6 and 16 in this class?
Not yet, but I understand what you're talking about.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? I understand where you're going. That's a good point. But he said, you can't know me. Go ahead.
Or the violent water.
Or the violent water. Go ahead.
Or the lights of heaven.
Go ahead.
To be the gods which govern the world.
You cannot put these things that I created as gods that govern the world. It's me who put them there. I'm the one that set it up. I set up the stars. I set up the winds. I set up the sun. I set up the moon. I set these things up. But people have traditions where they pay homage to the things that the Most High created as if that's Him. Read on.
With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods.
And the nations took these things that the Most High created to be what?
Gods.
God.
They took Saturn to be a what?
Gods.
They took Mars to be a what?
God.
They took the sun to be a what?
God.
They took the moon to be a what?
God.
They took wind and water and fire to be what?
God.
But that's not the Most High. He said, I just created them. It's good that you acknowledge that they're beautiful, but I didn't make them so you can bow down and worship them. I didn't make them so you can make a name of the day of the week to be the Sunday, which is a day to honor the sun, or moon day, or a day to honor the moon. I didn't make it for that reason. I didn't make the tree so you can go cut it down and bring it back into your house and deck it with silver and gold and put gifts under it. He said, yes, it's beautiful. Yes, the Most High's creation is wonderful. But it's not to be taken as a God. Read on.
Let them know how much better the Lord of them is.
He said, tell the people that have no understanding of me, that have no knowledge of me. Tell the people that the one that created all these things that you see with your eyes is greater than the creation, is more beautiful than the creation. Read on.
For the first author of beauty have created them.
He says, what does the Most High call himself?
Beauty.
No, he says,
First author.
He calls himself the first author of beauty. Anything that's beautiful in the world, the Most High was the first to do it. But that's not what the nations do. They take what the Most High has created and they worship the creature more than the what?
Creator.
More than the Creator. And that's the mistake that ignorant people do when they don't have the understanding of the Most High. That's why we'll put up lights around the house. It was supposed to be Hanukkah lights, not no damn Christmas lights. The lights represents the stars in the sky. That's what the lights represent, the twinkling. That's why the Christmas lights twinkle. That's why they blink. They blink because stars twinkle. And they're made to mimic what the Most High created in the heavens. But he said, listen, you're supposed to look at me as the first author of beauty. How come you don't give me the credit? I created it. How come you don't honor me?
Who put this together?
Exactly. Who got you believing a lie? Read on.
For For the first author of beauty have created them.
Go ahead.
But if they were astonished at their power and virtue.
He said, man, but if you appreciate what I created, if you appreciate the sun and the moon and the phases of the moon and how it changes, and how the sun, some days, some seasons are long, some are short, how you can actually use the sun as a calendar of what it was created for, to know the times, to understand the times, so you can understand signs, seasons, days, and years, which is in Genesis chapter 1. What is that, chapter 1, verse 7? Read that. I think it's Genesis 1 and 7. Read that. Who got that?
Guam. Genesis 1 and 7.
Yeah.
Genesis 1 and 7. And the Most High made the firmament.
No, hold on. Is it 1 and 7? Read on.
And divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And the Most High called the firmament heaven.
No. Go jump down to 14 and 15.
God.
14 through 16.
And the Most High said.
14 through 17.
Genesis 14. And the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven.
The Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven, which is, the firmament is known as the heavens. It's known as the barrier that goes around the earth, the atmosphere that goes around the earth. So the ozone layer, so to speak. He said, let there be lights in the firmament that you can see. Go ahead.
Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night.
So we can understand when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. It's not meant to be worshipped. Saturn's day is not meant to be worshipped. Sunday is not meant to be worshipped. There's not a day to worship the sun. Monday is not to be worshipped. It was a day just to let you know the difference between when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. It's that simple. Read on.
And let them be for signs.
And let them be for what?
For signs.
So you know when to plant crops. Go ahead.
And for seasons.
So you know that when it gets dark early, you know what season you're in. You know winter's approaching. Or winter's here. So you're going to have more long nights and shorter days. So you might not want to plant your crops. You're going to have more cold than you have hot. Go ahead.
And for days.
Go ahead.
And years.
So you can understand time. Not so you can worship the stars. So you can know time. You know what time it is. So you have a calendar. You have a way to tell and navigate where you are on the earth. And what season it is. Read on.
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven.
Go ahead.
To give light upon the earth.
And all of it was made to do what?
Give light upon the earth.
So we don't have to be in darkness. But it's not made to be worshipped. Read on.
And it was so.
Now let that go and go back to where we had in Wisdom of Solomon.
Come.
Chapter 13. Verse 4.
Come. Verse 4. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen.
Read that again.
For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionally, the maker of them is seen.
He says, by the greatness and the beauty of the Most High's creation, you can only see a small portion of the Most High. But that's not the full aspect of the Most High. Watching his creation doesn't give you all of the understanding of the Most High's mind. You only get to see the Most High in what? In proportion. So everybody all the nations that follow idols, that worship idols, they're only getting a portion of the Most High. The Most High is not making himself fully known to the nations. He's not. He's only made himself fully known to us. That's why when we read Psalms 147 verse 19, it says what?
Psalms 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
He said he showeth his what?
Statutes and judgments unto Israel.
He said he showeth his word unto Jacob. He said the Most High only gave us his word. He only gave us his way of thinking. The Most High gave us insight beyond what he gave the other nations. He didn't let the other nations see him. He only let the other nations see his creation. But the Most High let us in deeper on him, so we get to know him better than anybody else. That's why I said this. Read it again.
He showed his word unto Jacob.
Go ahead.
His statutes,
his laws, his rules, his way of thinking, mode of operation, or his standard of living. Go ahead.
And his judgments unto Israel.
Read on.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
No other nation gets to know the Most High as good as we do. The Most High didn't give the opportunity for other nations to get to know him the way we get to know him. That's why he made a book that was special to us. We're a peculiar treasure to him. Let the other nations follow paganistic holidays, because that's what the Most High gave them. But for us, he gave us a better standard of living that excels the other nations. They only get to behold the beauty of the Most High's creation, but they don't get to know the Most High himself. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us wonderful. So why would we adopt the culture of somebody who didn't even get a chance to really know the Most High? It makes no sense. That's why it's foolishness for us to pick up heathenistic customs. We have a relationship that spans greater with the Most High than the nations do, than the heathens do. It's unnecessary for us to follow their customs. If anything, they should be following our customs. They should be following our laws and our statutes and our commandments. Let that go and go back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13. Verse 5.
For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen. But yet, for this, they are the less to be blamed. For they peradventure err, seeking the Most High, and desirous to find him.
He said, but this is their error. We'll seek to find the Most High in any and everything other than what he gave us to find him in. You know what the Most High left behind for us to find him? His laws, his statutes, and his word. He said, but we'll go to any lengths, to any depth, to pick up any other doctrine or any other philosophy, thinking that it will make us closer to the Most High. This is why we bring in the paganistic worships and customs, and we worship them so strongly. He said that's our error. Because we're following something that the Most High gave to the nations to do, not for us to do. That's our mistake. So now let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3. It says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs
they're upright
be born.
as the palm tree, meaning the palm tree stays green year round. That's why you go get a tree and you bring it in your house that's green. You don't pick a dead tree. People don't pick dead trees for Christmas. They go pick green trees for Christmas. Because you know why? When they dry, them damn lights catch on fire.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's why I said that's why fire department be everywhere during that season. Because so many people put them damn lights up, catch their house on fire. Put them trees up, burn their house up. It's not meant for you to put up anyway. But that's the lesson that we have to learn. We can't be ignorant forever. Read on.
It says, but speak not.
He said they don't speak. Go ahead.
They must needs be born.
Meaning they must be maintained. That's why back in the day, I remember in the 80s, we used to have to put water under the damn tree in the dish. in the tree stand, there was a bowl inside the tree stand, and you got to add water to the tree stand every so many days. Because if you ain't put that water in the bottom, that damn tree gonna dry up. You wasted your money. But you know what? You wasted your money anyway. You wasted your money anyway following these customs. Because they have nothing to do with the Most High. They're all in an imitation or similitude to honor the Most High after a paganistic way, which only worships the Most High in His creation. But never in truth, never in spirit. That's why John 4:24 said, God is a spirit, and them that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. Not in a fashion or similitude of an image. So he said these customs, read on.
It says, they must needs be born because they cannot go.
He said because they cannot carry themselves. They cannot feed themselves. They cannot take care of themselves. You have to maintain the tree. The tree can't maintain itself. Read on.
Be not afraid of them.
And it was Semiramis, the mother of Nimrod, who told the people after Nimrod died that you have to honor the Nimrod by erecting a tree and putting it in your house. Otherwise, Nimrod's spirit would jump out of the tree and kill you. But this is why Jeremiah is coming back and dispelling this myth, this hoax. It's a lie. It's a trick. Read on.
For they cannot do evil, neither also is it in them to do good.
So then where does it come from? Let's go back to the two Babylons real quick, and let's read page 114. Either 113 or 114. Let me see.
Page 114.
114. Read that right there.
From this point or this point?
Read this right here. Starting from here, but still a question.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Undo.
This is go ahead, W. You got it. Two Babylons, page 113 at the bottom. The last paragraph.
But still, a question was to be determined. What was to be the name of this pagan festival?
Go ahead.
When it was baptized and admitted into the ritual of Roman Christianity.
So the Romans brought in all these paganistic customs and mixed these ideologies up with Christ to get people to observe the Roman Catholic Church and to increase their adherence or their congregation, to elevate their numbers. So they started adopting and meeting pagans halfway to bring them into the church. Read on.
To call it by its old name of Baal.
Of Baal what?
Or Tammuz.
Or Tammuz. And this is what you read in the scripture, the weeping of Tammuz. The weeping of Tammuz was the crying or weeping of the death of Nimrod. It's a custom that survived that the Babylonians maintained when Nimrod died. Read on.
At the early period, when it seems to have been adopted, would have been too bold.
To do what? It would have been too bold to what?
To call it by the name of Christ.
So they said that even the pagan festival, you have the winter solstice, which is Saturnalia. Then you have the summer solstice. So they're 6 months apart. The summer solstice is when the days are equal. When the days are equal in length as the nights. There's 12 hours and 12 hours a day, 12 hours of night. That summer solstice is when they're in the middle. Or I would take that back. The summer is when the solstice is when the days are long, the nights are short. But the spring equinox is when they're even. Go ahead.
To call it by the name of Christ was difficult.
He says they didn't want to, even in their summer solstices, he says they didn't want to call it after the name of the Christ because pagans wouldn't follow it. Read on.
Inasmuch as there was nothing special in his history at that period to commemorate.
Because Christ, the idea of Christians following Christ was so brand new, it wouldn't have held no weight by calling this day Christmas. Read on.
But the subtlety of the agents of the mystery of iniquity was not to be baffled.
Go ahead.
If the name of Christ could not be conveniently tacked to it, what should hinder its being called by the name of his forerunner? John the Baptist.
So even John the Baptist, the Catholic Church said, you know what? To call it Christ would be too strong for this summer solstice, because they're 6 months apart. When you read the scripture, John the Baptist is 6 months older than Christ. They're cousins. So what the Catholic Church did was they put John the Baptist's, they say this day, the summer solstice, will be the worship of John the Baptist. And 6 months later, exactly from the date, will be the worship of his cousin Christ. 6 months apart. But actually, they're both aligned with paganistic holidays. Read on.
John the Baptist was born 6 months before the Lord, when therefore the pagan festival of the winter solstice had once been consecrated as the birthday of the Savior. It followed, as a matter of course, that if the forerunner was to have a festival at all, his festival must be at this very season.
So they said, you know what? If we're going to give Christ, and we're going to name this pagan festival after Christ, then we're going to give John the Baptist one too. And we're going to have people thinking that they're worshiping John the Baptist and they're worshiping Christ. But in actuality, they're worshiping the summer solstice and the winter solstice. That's a trick. That's a lie that the church set up to adopt the minds of our people to bring them into the church. So the customs that we adopted are falsities. They're lies developed by the Roman church. But let that go. That's enough from there. That's enough from that. And if you get a chance, please do get this joint right here. Please do get 2 Babylons. 2 Babylons, I'm not sure the cost of it, but as far, it's a heavy read, but it shows you the origin of all the Babylonian customs that tie into paganistic church worship today, of where the church got it from, where they adopted from. These are ancient forms of worship that predated Christ. They have nothing to do with Christ. They have nothing to do with John the Baptist. They have nothing to do with anything biblical. So where did it come from? So now let's go to Genesis chapter 10 or chapter 11.
Genesis chapter 10 and 11. Genesis chapter 10 verse 11. Out of that land went forth a shore and building the veil, and the city.
I'm sorry, Genesis chapter 11 verse 1. I'm sorry. No. Genesis chapter 10 verse 9. No, just start at verse 8.
Chapter 10 verse 8?
Yeah, chapter 10 verse 8.
Genesis chapter 10 verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth.
So Cush is the son of Ham, and Ham begat Cush, and Cush begat Nimrod. Nimrod is the grandson of Ham. Ham is the progenitor of the dark nations, the Africans, the Libyans, the Canaanites, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, and the North Africans. He says, so these are but not the Negroes. Ham is not the progenitor of the Negroes. So he's the progenitor of the dark nations. So the first civilization that ruled the earth that was a mighty in the eyes of the Most High. You got the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Go ahead and read it.
Zondervan Bible Dictionary of the definition Ham, page 213. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood.
Go ahead.
And one of 8 persons to live through the flood.
Read on.
He became the progenitor.
He became the progenitor or the father of who?
Of the dark races.
He became the father of the dark races. Go ahead. Who in particular?
Not the Negro.
So we're not Hamitic, we're Shemitic. Just because we have dark skin doesn't mean that we're Hamitic. There's a lot of nations, the majority of the nations of the world have dark skin. Don't let anybody fool you that white skin, having that recessive gene, is actually the majority. They call us by the minority. When the majority of the world and the peoples of the world have dark skin. When you look at South Pacific Islanders, they have dark skin. It's just that we have this American mind frame that we're the ones that's small in number. That's not true. You can look at the South Pacific Islanders. You can look at Melanesia. Melanesia means 2 words put together. Mela, which is melas, which is black. That's what Mela is. Melas is Greek for black. It's either Latin. I think it's Latin for black. Melas. Melanesia, Nesia means many islands. Because in Melanesia, it's comprised of hundreds and hundreds of chains of little islands. And all the people that live on all these hundreds of islands, they're black people in the South Pacific. That's why it's called Melanesia. There's black islands, the many black islands, because the people there are black. Polynesia, or many islands. Micronesia, the small islands. Those are black peoples, dark, and not black as far as so-called African Americans, so-called Negroes, but just dark skin. If you go to Papua New Guinea, near Australia, Papua New Guinea, that's where the headhunters belong. When the white man first got there, they were cannibals. Those were the people that was eating the white man, and it was disappearing when the white man got there because they were cannibals, but they were black. You read about that young kid who tried to preach Christ to that little island of Aborigines that never was settled, and they still wear skirts and grass, and they still throw spears.
You're talking about at the Amazon?
Yeah, in the Amazon. The white man trying to come in and indoctrinate the island peoples with Christianity, and they shot an arrow and killed them. And nobody to this day, they've been unadulterated, they've been untapped, and they have been unconquered for hundreds of years, thousands of years. And all them people on that damn island are black. They got bones in their nose, they got grass skirts, and they walk around half naked. And as much as the white man has done was observe them from a helicopter or observe them from a boat, a passing ship. But the Filipinos, the original Filipinos, the Spaniards, when they got there in the 1500s, the Spaniards called them negritos. Because the actual Filipinos were short, dark-skinned, pygmy people with afros. That's why they called them negritos. They were blacks in Philippines. The Philippines is made up of over 3,000 islands. And they go from canoe to canoe, from island to island, hunting and fishing. That's how they survive. But when the Spaniards got there, they was full of dark people. When the Spaniards got to America, they said that the Aztecs were dark-skinned and had color. Montezuma was sort of fair-skinned compared to the rest of the tawny natives that was here in America. They called them tawny, which is a brownish red. That's why they still represent themselves as brown pride. It's still a brown. Don't be fooled. Everybody in the world is black. When you go to Australia, the original Aborigines that blow on that damn oboe or whatever they blow on, that little instrument that they play, and they live in the outback. The damn Australians with the damn colored hair, with the blonde hair, they're black. When you go to Nepal, the Nepalese are black. When you go to India, damn Indians in India, they be darker than us.
Sand blank.
Yeah, they darker than us. The original Chinese were dark. They didn't get whiter until Genghis Khan started molesting and raping and ruling all that surrounds Mongolia
Eurasia,
and in China, and then down in Turkey. That's why they said a lot of them East Asians have Khan's blood. They say 6% of the world has Genghis Khan's blood in them, because that's part of his pillage, was to rape and to conquer and pillage. Same thing with the white man, the Spanish Caucasian that got to America. He whitened up the population of the Aztecs. He whitened up the population of the Native Americans. Or in Canada, the French Canadians that went to Ottawa or went to British Columbia or went to Quebec. Those people was dark skinned. And they went raping and robbing and pillaging. Don't be fooled. All the rest of the world is dark skinned. But Ham seed are particularly a dark skinned race, but not the Negroes. The Negroes didn't come from Ham's lineage, they came from Shem's lineage. Read that again.
So it says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races.
He became the father of the what?
Dark races.
Go ahead.
Not the Negroes.
Not the Negroes, but who?
But the Egyptians.
The Egyptians are dark-skinned people. Don't buy that lie that these so-called Arabs that are really Turk by origin, you know, that came from the Caucasus Mountains, that took on the Arabic religion and whitened up the root of the Arabs. The original Arabs were dark. The Ishmaelites
Stole their culture too.
They stole their culture as well. The original Ishmaelites or herdsmen or the tents of Kedar, they were dark. They were dark-skinned people. Go ahead. Ethiopians. The word Ethiopian means burnt face. Obviously, they're what?
Burnt face.
They're dark. If their name means burnt face, then that's a connotation to tell you what they look like. They're so damn dark, it looked like their face is burnt. That's their name. Read on. Libyans, North Africans, go ahead.
And Canaanites.
South Africans. Also Philistines. Also Phoenicians. All those were Canaanite peoples. Ugaritic peoples. Ancient Sumerian peoples were Africans. In the land of Canaan, all that was Ethiopia, all the way over from the Arabian Peninsula, even into where Baghdad is now. Ancient, that was all dark-skinned people. So Nimrod's civilization was the first civilization that became mighty, but it was a dark man's civilization. Nimrod is the root. He is the root of all paganistic forms of worship. Yes, sir.
Read Josephus.
Yeah. What you got?
Book 1, chapter, paragraph 2, paragraph 2.
No, we're gonna get that.
Oh, you get.
Yeah, that's what. No, yeah, I got it right here.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we got. We're good looking out though. We're good looking out. So go ahead and read that in the scripture. 11. I mean 10. We're in 10. We're in
9.
Genesis chapter 10, verse.
Genesis chapter
10 verse 8.
9.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Genesis chapter 10, verse 8. And Cush begat Nimrod.
And Cush begat who? Which is a dark-skinned man. The Ethiopians are the ancient Cushites. They're the biblical ancient Cushites. Is the Ethiopians today. Nimrod came out of their posterity. Nimrod came out of their lineage. Go ahead.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth.
Now it's telling you that he began to be a mighty one in the earth. Now the Josephus, we're going to go to the Josephus to explain what exactly Nimrod was doing to become a mighty one in the earth. Why is Nimrod so celebrated? Why did Nimrod become so popular? Why did Nimrod become so famous? All the scripture is telling you is that he became a mighty one. He was a mighty ruler, an authoritative person, a person that had the ability to persuade the people. What did Nimrod tap into that made him so powerful and so special? There's something that Nimrod was doing to get the people persuaded to follow after him and to congregate around him and to follow his pursuits and to follow his visions. He was a mighty person as far as his ability to persuade the minds. How was Nimrod persuading the minds? Read on.
Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Most High.
Now, when you look at the origin of a hunter lays what? A hunter lays a trap. A hunter lays a snare. A hunter captures their prey. Right? So how was Nimrod capturing his prey? How was Nimrod becoming a mighty ruler? Say it again?
Using idols.
Using idols. Yes, he was using idols. And one of the things that Nimrod would do is destabilize the people. He destabilize the people. What Nimrod must do to get the people focused is to get the people to separate from following the ones in charge. This is a tactic that Nimrod understood that goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden. To get the masses of people to follow you, you have to separate them from the person that's supposed to be their leader. How do you do this? First of all, to prove that, go to Matthew real quick. Go to Matthew chapter 26, verse 31.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 31. Have you read?
Read that.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 31. It says, "Then saith Yahushua
This is what Yahushua said. Go ahead.
unto them,
Go ahead.
All ye shall be offended because of me this night.
Go ahead.
For it is written."
It is written. Somebody give me Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7.
Zechariah chapter 13.
Yeah, somebody give me Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7. Because Christ was quoting a scripture. That's why I said it is written.
Zechariah chapter 13, right?
Verse 7. Read that.
Verse 7.
Reads, "Awake, O sword, against my shepherd."
He says, if you raise up the sword against who?
My shepherd.
Against the shepherd. This was actually the Most High talking about Christ and that they were going to kill Christ. He said, if you raise up the sword against the leader, a shepherd is the leader. He's the guide of the people. He's the one in charge. If you raise up a shepherd to the leader, he said what?
And against the man that is my fellow,
Go ahead.
saith the Lord of hosts, smite the shepherd.
If you smite the shepherd, if you attack the leader, if you attack the one in charge, what's going to happen to the people?
And the sheep shall be scattered.
And what's going to happen to the sheep?
Shall be scattered.
The people will be disoriented. They won't know who to follow. They're easy to capture. That's all you have to do to get to become a leader. You have to smite the one in charge. This is why when 100 white men in a canoe from Spain or Portugal would come to the Americas, whether it be Mexico, whether it be Brazil, or whether it be Peru, or whether it be Chile, the first thing they would say is who? Take me to your what?
Leader.
Take me to your leader. Because they understand that if I kill the leader, it was necessary for Cortez to kill Montezuma. It was necessary for the Spaniards to kill the chief of Peru, of Chile, and Peru, or the Incas, the Incan chief. It was necessary that they attack the leadership. Because when you attack the leadership, you scatter the flock. They're disoriented. Then they're easy picking. They're easy targets.
Same thing when y'all was shot.
Right. That's why he said. That's why Christ was quoting this verse. Read on in Matthew 26.
It says, "All ye shall be offended because of me this night."
Read on.
For it is written, "I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered."
And
abroad."
how do you attack the sheep? You take out the what?
Shepherd.
You take out the leader. That's why what the movement that Martin Luther King had going on, that with the peaceful protest, the laws that started to change, the boycotts, they had to do what? They had to take him out. That's why Malcolm X was creating a following. He was amassing a following. But they had to do what? They had to take him out. That's why Marcus Garvey had the Black Star Liner. He had ships already ready to go back to Africa. But a white man came into his office and shot him twice. But he lived. But that was an assassination on his life. Why would the white man come and do that? Because he had followers. He had Garveyites. He had people following his movement. But if you smite the shepherd, you smite the leader, then the people are disoriented and they have nobody to follow. They don't know who to follow. This is a tactic that anybody who's looking to colonize or imperialize or to rule or to conquer, this is a tactic that you do when you're a hunter. A hunter is no different than a colonizer. Because you're still there to capture the minds of the people. Now all that the white men had to do was kill the leaders, kill the old men, kill the elders. And then the women and children are left to your what? Your disposal. That's all you have to do is smite the leader, smite the head. That goes back to Genesis chapter 3. Read that real quick. Genesis chapter 3.
Genesis chapter 3.
Yep. Start at verse 1.
Genesis chapter 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Go ahead.
Which the Most High had made.
Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Go ahead.
And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High has said.
He says that she said who? The Most High have said. What?
You shall not eat of it.
So initially Eve was locked into who?
The Most High.
She was locked into the Most High. She was locked into her husband. She was in order. She was following the shepherd. But then Satan did what? Read on.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
But what did Satan do?
And the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die.
All he gave her was what? Options. That's all you have to do to a person to get them to separate from who they're in order with. All you have to do is give them options. That's how you destabilize people. You give them alternatives. See, when people are following and locked in, you can't penetrate them because they operate as one. They operate as a unit. They operate as a core. There's no division. This is what the white man would do in Africa. Whether it be the Belgium, whether it be the French, whether it be the Italians, whether it be the British, whether it be the Spanish, whatever damn white man came in and diced up Africa in pieces, all they did was go to one tribe, give them weapons, and attack the next warring tribe or the next tribe next door. It was divide and conquer. That's how you conquer people. You divide them. You split them up from following. Once you split them up from following, then they're easy picking. They're easy prey. Now they're destabilized. Now they have no shepherd. Now they have no guide. And all you do is put in a false leader. You implant a democratic leader. Or you implant a socialist leader. Or you implant whoever you want as a puppet government or a puppet regime. And you put them in place. And the people have no choice but to follow. But you can't defeat people that are unified. You cannot defeat people that are in the same mind. You cannot defeat people. They're not vulnerable to attacks when they're locked into their shepherd. So it's an easy tactic that's been used all over time since the beginning of time. Read on.
For the Most High do know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open.
And he said, you'll have an advantage. You got choices now. You have alternatives. You know more than what you know now. You're being suppressed in what you can understand. You're being limited. You're being governed by this leader of yours. But actually, what Satan was doing was destabilizing the order and the discipline that Eve had towards the Most High. All he was doing was destabilizing her by giving her a false idea that there's alternatives of ways of being in order with the Most High. And there is no alternative way of being in order of the Most High. This was a... Yes, sir.
No, I was going to ask, basically we didn't have no knowledge of the alternative way.
We had no
option.
There wasn't no option. It wasn't no option. It was one law. It was one way. It was one order. And that is the safety of Israel. Being locked into the leadership, being locked into the shepherd, that's how you stay focused. That's how you stay with the group. That's even in fish. Fish stay they swim in a colony. They swim in a school. Animals operate in a herd. They stay together as a body. That's their safety. All Nimrod had to do was, because he understood that all you had to do to destabilize people is give them alternatives. And we're gonna prove that. This is what made Nimrod mighty. Now go back to Josephus where you was at. And the Josephus, hold this in Babylon, and what we reading in Genesis chapter 10. Go to Josephus, page 35. Start at chapter 4, book 1, chapter 4, sentence 111.
Book 1, chapter 4, sentence 111.
Write that down. And Kwam, hold where we at in Genesis chapter 10, verse 9 now. Read that.
For when they flourished with a numerous youth, God admonished them to send out colonies.
So the Most High said, listen, I want y'all to go send out colonies. Go ahead.
But they, imagining the prosperity they enjoyed was not derived from the favor of God.
He said, but they didn't look at the benefits that they were receiving as being from who? The Most High. That was the first mistake. They got disoriented from following the Most High and looking at the Most High. Read on.
But supposing that their own power,
That their what?
own power,
That their own power, what?
was the proper cause of the plentiful condition they were in.
And this is what Satan told Eve. He said, you won't die. He said, for your eyes shall be open and you'll have knowledge of good and evil. You'll know how to survive and you'll know how to function without just being dependent upon the Most High. There's alternative ways to function. You can still sustain yourself. And this is what Nimrod was teaching. This was the teachings of Nimrod. Now finish that in Genesis real quick. Now read on down in Genesis.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel.
And Babel, of course, means confusion. Go ahead.
Erect.
Go ahead.
Akkad.
Go ahead.
And Canaan.
Go ahead.
In the land of Shinar.
Go ahead.
Out of the land went forth Ashur.
And he not only did he establish those cities. Go ahead.
And built in Nevaeh.
Go ahead.
In the city Rehoboth. And Calah. And Reason between Nevaeh and Calah. The same is a great city.
It says these became great cities. So he went up into Assyria and he established the colonies of Assyria. He established the customs, ways of worship. He built the cities of Assyria, Nineveh. These are mighty cities. This is the culture and the cult of Nimrod began. It began in ancient Mesopotamia.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he had followers. But this is how he built the city. Read on. Not let that go. Read on.
It says, did not obey him. 112.
It says, Nimrod, the cities that he built, the prosperity that came from those cities and the wealth accumulated from those cities was based upon one man's teaching. Read on.
Nay, they added to this their disobedience to the divine will.
Go ahead.
The suspicion that they were thereof ordered to send out separate colonies, that being divided asunder, they might the more easily be oppressed.
So Nimrod said, listen, if you follow me, I'll protect you. I'll protect you from the Most High. He painted the Most High as an enemy. I'll protect you from him so that way if he decides to flood the earth again, if we stick together, then we can defy the Most High. That was the whole purpose of the Tower of Babel, was in defiance of the Most High.
Oh.
By resurrecting an idea. All he had to do was supplant an idea to scatter the people. What was the idea? Read on.
113. Now it was Nimrod who excited them.
Persuaded the people. Go ahead.
To such an affront.
To tell the people it's by your own power that you receive pleasure, wealth, prosperity, success, and safety. You create your safety. You create your own wealth. You determine the conditions of life that you want to have. You don't have to serve the Most High. There is an alternative. It was Nimrod that did what?
Excited them to an affront and contempt of God.
And contempt of God. Go ahead.
He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man and of great strength of hand.
And he was a bold man in the way he spoke. And also, he was a mighty hunter. So he was good at capturing animals. Go ahead.
He persuaded them not to ascribe it to God, as if it was through his means they were happy.
It says, do not give the Most High credit. Give yourselves credit. Give yourselves credit for what you do and what you've earned. This was the persuasion. This was the ability that Nimrod had in order to gain the minds of the people. Why is that important? Why is that important? Go to Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 16.
That's all me.
It's all me. It's on me.
For real.
All these dimes on me. It's on me, baby. Why is this so critical? Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 16.
Jeremiah 1:16.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 16. and I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness.
The Most High said what? I will
utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness.
You have to pay attention to this, because this is the trap. This is the tactic. This is the style in the way of Nimrod, and this is what he used in particular to destabilize the people, to get them to separate from the Most High. This is a very beautiful trick. It's a hoax. Read on.
Who have forsaken me.
Go ahead.
And have burned incense unto other gods and worshipped the works of their own hands.
He says, and I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me. How do we forsake the Most High? He said, who have forsaken me and have burnt incense unto other gods. So Nimrod introduced the worship of other gods. There's alternatives. The other gods that Nimrod worshipped were the ancient Sumerian gods that predated the flood. It was Nimrod who resurrected the worship of Anu and of Enlil and of Enki. When you read about the Epic of Gilgamesh, these were the ancient Sumerian gods that were the creators of heaven. These were the supreme gods of heaven. These were the wife or deities of earth, of life, of capital, of grain, of harvest. He's the one that brought in these deities that the Most High destroyed during the flood. Remember, he survived the flood. But he brought in the worship of other deities, these ancient deities, these ancient Sumerian deities. And he gave the people alternatives. And through these other gods, he says, you do what? You who have forsaken me have burnt incense unto other gods and what?
And worship the works of their own hands.
And you worship the work of your hands. You give credit to what you achieve, your achievements. You give yourself the credit. You give yourself the glory. You give yourself the props for what you achieved in your life. This is how you destabilize people. You give them a fake idea that it wasn't from the Most High that you give your glory to. You give yourself, your hard work, your labor, your sacrifices. That's what got you here. That's what got you where you want to be at. You give the Most High no credit. This is an idea. This is a trap. How do you know this? Go to Matthew. Go from here. Go to John chapter 5 verse 19.
5 and 19.
Yes, St. John chapter 5 verse 19.
St. John chapter 5 and verse 19.
Read that.
Reads. Then answered Yahushua said unto them.
And he told them what? Go ahead.
Verily, verily.
He says, truly, truly what?
I say unto you.
Go ahead.
The Son can do nothing of himself.
He said, I can't do nothing by myself. He said, I don't do nothing by myself. I get no credit. I'm in order with the Most High. I follow the Most High. Go ahead.
But what he seeth the Father do.
He said, I can't do nothing but do exactly what the Father does. I'm in order. Read on.
For what things soever he doeth.
It said, but I can only follow the Most High. Read on.
These also doeth the Son likewise.
Now, are you in give me St. John chapter 15 verse 19.
15 and 19, come.
You're holding this out.
Yeah, you're in
Jeremiah 1 and 16.
Jeremiah 1 and 16. Let that go.
St. John chapter 15, right?
Yeah, verse 19.
Verse 19 reads, if ye were of the world.
He says, Christ said, if you was of the world, if you think like the world, if you operate like the world thinking, go ahead.
The world would love his own.
He says the world would what?
Love his own.
That means the world would follow you. All you have to do is promote the idea that Nimrod is teaching, and the world will follow you. The world will love you. The world will embrace you. See, there's a mindset that the world possesses, that everybody that's anti the Most High possesses. The mentality is, I give no honor, I pay no respect, and I don't have to follow the Most High. There's alternatives in my life that I have that I can still achieve success, and I can bypass the Most High. This is a worldly mentality. This is why it says, if you was of the world would do what?
love his own.
The world will love his own. Go ahead.
But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
He says, so let's get a closer look about what Christ is talking about when he says, if you was of the world would embrace you. If you taught a certain doctrine, people would follow you. If you taught a certain mentality, people would follow you. What is that mentality? Go to Psalms chapter 49, verse 16.
Psalm 49, 16.
Yes, go to Psalms chapter 49, verse 16.
Psalms 49, 16. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich.
He said, but Nimrod became rich and powerful. He became an authority. But a lot of people looked up to Nimrod. He became a mighty one in the earth. And in his persuasion and his attempt was to get you not to ascribe any success to the Most High, but give yourself the credit. He said, but that's how Nimrod came up in the world. That's how he excelled, because he was in the world. But there's an attribute of being in the world that the world would embrace you. This is how you know they would embrace you. This is what Christ was talking about. Read on.
When the glory of his house is increased.
It says, when the glory of his house is what?
Increased.
Go ahead.
For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away.
Go ahead.
His glory shall not descend after him.
He says, but he said, I'm not going to let you take the glory that you made in the earth, the success that you made in the earth. I'm not going to let you take it with you. This is the Most High's judgment. But read on.
Though while he lived.
It says, though while he lived, go ahead.
He blessed his soul.
He says, while you live, you do what?
Bless his soul.
If you're of the world and the world will love you, the world loves you because you're selfish. Because the world is selfish. So the more selfish you become, the world will embrace you. The more self-satisfying you become, the world they'll draw to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's the idea of the world. Everybody loves a come up. And everybody loves to see somebody come up. Because if you can come up, I can do it. If you can do it, I can do it. If I see you successful and you have an alternative way to gain success, if you can shoot a basketball and get riches, then I'm going to dribble the ball 50,000 times to get riches. I'm going to duplicate what you do. I don't have to go to the Most High. I'll use my talents like Nimrod had talents. He was a mighty hunter, strength of hand, and powerful orator, and ability to persuade people. He used his physical ability as a way to get people persuaded, but ultimately what it was he was just extremely damn selfish. So read that part again.
Though while he lived, he blessed his soul.
All you have to do is keep blessing your soul and put it on TV, and people will follow you. That's why all you have to do is get a whole damn stack of money, put it on a video on YouTube, or put it on Instagram, and you're going to get 100,000 likes. All you got to do is make a damn library of money, put it in front of the camera, and say, listen to me. If you're tired of your 9 to 5, if you're tired of getting up at 4:30 in the morning, I made this in a month. I made $25,000 in 30 days. It's going to take you a year to get to what I did in 1 month. So before you click off this ad, listen to me for 30 seconds. I have a link that I want you to click down below. And when you click this link, I'm going to show you the keys of success that you can inherit 20,000. If you duplicate my method of success, then you too can gain $20,000 in 30 days. For $200, right?
That's Christian, bro.
Yeah, hold that real quick. Let y'all get this.
Job 31, verse 26.
Job 31.
Well, actually, verse 25.
31 and 26, right?
25, sir.
Oh, 25.
Come.
To 29.
Job chapter 31 and verse 25. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gotten much.
So once again, just want to elaborate on the topic and the point of people looking at their wealth or what they amass to be worshipped, to self-indulge. This is what Job was saying. He said, if I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gotten much, by my strength and my works and my strategy and my passion, I've gained. Read.
if I beheld the sun when it shined,
Read on.
or the moon walking in brightness.
So when if I had given my conscience to the physical element of life, worshiping the physical world, and not the spirit that made this physical world. Read.
And my heart have been secretly enticed.
And my heart had been what?
Secretly enticed.
Because I'm looking at my physical possessions and my physical indulgences, and I'm looking at all the material blessings, and I'm looking at the creation the Most High has created, and I'm giving myself or my credence to that. Read.
Or my mouth have kissed my hand.
And now my mouth is kissing my hand, which is what? It's just an ancient way of saying it's all me.
Pleasing.
No help, this all me. I did it for me. I built this. I'm King Kong. Right? We know Denzel said that, right? Why do people feel that? Because that spirit Sean was elaborating about. In Nimrod, being a Nimrod mindset, being a Nimrod follower. This is me. I did this. So I'm going to kiss my hand because it's me. I did this. I built this. Read.
This also were an iniquity.
This also is what?
Iniquity.
This is iniquity. This is a sin in the eyes of God. Read.
To be punished by the judge.
So this is iniquity or a sin that he says that should be punished by a judge. By not acknowledging the Most High. Me not acknowledging the Father. Me worshiping the physical world. Me rejoicing in the abundance that I have amassed. Not giving credence to the Father. Nor using his method. But looking for an alternative method. This is to be punished by the judge. Read on.
For I should have denied the Most High that is above.
Read that point again.
For I should have denied the Most High that is above.
Because it fosters the spirit of a person denying the Most High. It's an atheist mentality. I did this. I built this. This is me. To serve my lust, my flesh.
And that's why this is what Christ is saying when he said if the world love you, if you of the world will love his own. Because the world loves the attributes of a person who's self-centered, who's self-satisfying, who blesses his soul, who increases in wealth. Now keep reading that in Psalm 49 in verse 18.
Though while he lived, he blessed his soul.
And that's why Nimrod's teachings became so popular, because that was the enticement of what the people wanted to hear. People wanted to hear that I could still get success and wealth and stability without having to follow the Most High. By my efforts, by my hard work, by my strength of hand. This is what Nimrod was teaching. It's not the Most High that you got to follow. You just got to follow after your level of dedication. You put yourself in a position of success. It was still a self-centered mentality. Read on.
And men will praise thee.
He said, and men will do what?
Praise thee.
And that's when the world will love you.
Crazy.
All you have to do is be physically strong in pursuing success. No matter who you step on, you step on the small guy to get where you got to be. No matter how you got there, whether it was by your strength, by your physique, by your God's given talents, whatever it is that you got to do to receive success, but you don't have to be in order. The world is not going to praise somebody that's in order with the Most High. The world is going to praise somebody that shares the same mentality. I bless myself. He said what? Read that again.
Though while he lived, he blessed his soul.
Go ahead.
And men will praise thee.
And men will do what?
Praise thee.
Why do men praise you when you bless yourself? Why do men praise you when you become self-centered? Why do men praise you when you about your success and you grind, you know what I'm saying, all 24/7, all day, all night? Why do men love a person that comes up and bypassing the Most High?
Kobe.
Because that's really in them. Because they really don't want to follow the Most High either. They want the fastest way to success. And Nimrod was providing that. He was providing an alternative to success. That's what Satan provided Eve. That's an old trick. That's not a new trick. You don't have to serve the Most High completely. You can still depend on you and still make it. He said men will do what?
Praise thee.
He said men will praise thee. Go ahead.
When thou doest well to thyself.
When will men praise you?
When thou doest well to thyself.
This is Nimrod.
It's rap music, huh?
Yeah.
People love that.
Put on some chains and you're going to get followers. Deck yourself out, you're going to get followers. Go get the Lamborghini and people going to follow you. Go hit the gym and put on some muscles, and people will follow you. Go get diamonds in your teeth, and people will follow you. He says, because people follow people that bless themselves. That's the way of the world. People follow selfish individuals that decorate themselves and put on the image of success and prosperity by not submitting to the Most High. That's how you know you're of the world. That was what Nimrod was teaching. Read on.
He shall go to the generations of his fathers. They shall never see light.
But the Most High said, yeah, you may be on top now. He said, but I'm going to let you die. You can't take that with you. I'm going to take it from you. Read on.
Man that is in honor and understandeth not.
He said, man that is in honor, because that's what the world does. The world honors man. They don't honor the Most High. Nimrod was in the pursuit of teaching people to honor themselves. Honor your strength. Honor your capability. Honor your education. You don't have to follow anybody. You don't have to submit to commandments. You can make it where you want to be by what you do, by the hard work and dedication you put in. People follow that mentality. But the Most High said that mentality will never see light. And when they die, read on.
Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perish.
And how does the beast perish? Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 21. How did the beast... Yeah, Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 21.
I think it said 40 minutes.
Okay, I'm not sure. We don't.
I think the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, because I think Zoom has a limit. Zoom has a limit. That's why.
Chapter 3.
Yep.
21.
Yep. Read on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 21. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward?
He says, the Most High said, all the self-centered individuals shall die like a beast. He said, for those that worship the Most High, he said, they spirit gonna go upward. Read on.
And the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth.
And where does the beast stay at?
Downward.
To the what?
To the earth.
That's why he said they never gonna see light. You got this Nimrod mentality. The Most High said, when you die, you're gonna stay in that dirt. He said, but those that follow me, I'm going to raise their spirit up. Their spirit going to come back to me. But anybody that has that self-centered mentality, when they die, they're going to stay in that ground. And they're not going to take all the things that they accumulated with them. But this is what the idea that Nimrod was teaching. Now go back to the Josephus. Where we at the Josephus. And somebody else read me. So after this, we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17.
We're at the end of point 113.
Go ahead.
But to believe.
So he says, now it was Nimrod. Read that one more time.
Point 113. Now it was Nimrod who excited them to such an affront.
To kiss themselves, to bless themselves. Because that's when the world will really embrace you. That's why Nimrod built these cities so fast. That's why he amassed all these followers. All he kept doing was adding on to his collection. He kept adding on to his trophies. Look at his victories that he was getting by denying the Most High. People love that. Because people really want to follow that. That's what the world does. That's why Christ said, if you are the world will love his own. If you teach this attitude, that damn Scientology, the people will follow that too. Read on.
And contempt of God.
Go ahead.
He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man.
That's a bold mentality. Go ahead.
And of great strength of hand. He persuaded them to not ascribe to God, as if it was through his means they were happy.
As if it was through his means that they were happy. Read on.
But to believe that it was their own courage.
He said people, he was teaching that people through their own courage, by their own strength, by their own will, by their own discipline, by their own education, and their own dedication, go ahead,
which procured that happiness.
You make yourself happy. You don't need God to be happy. It was Nimrod that did this. The Most High is specifically against this mentality. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17. Hold that right there. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17. And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand have gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember the Most High thy power.
He says, read that again.
But thou shalt remember the Most High thy power.
Read verse 17 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17. And thou say in thine heart.
It says you got to be careful that when you start getting wealth, that you don't get convinced that it was you that did it. You got yourself in a position of success. You got yourself in a position of power. You got yourself in a position of peace. You got yourself in a position of stability. You got yourself in a position of posterity or success and comfort. You're supposed to never take credit for what you have or obtain in this world. All credit, all glory goes back to the Most High. He says, but we do what? The Most High will let us be comfortable, and we'll do what? In verse 17, one more time.
And thou say in thine heart, my power and the might of mine hand hath gotten me this wealth.
And this is the teachings of Nimrod. This is of the teachings of the world that will have people following you. All you have to do is become self-centered and selfish and glorify yourself. And the more you glorify yourself like Birdman,
facts,
the more people want to be a part of your camp. The more people want to listen to you. The more people want advice from you. The more people want to be an understudy to you.
How'd you do it?
How'd you do it, man? I'm going to be like so-and-so. I'm going to be like Mike. I'm going to be like Jordan. I'm going to be like Michael Jackson.
That's what's crazy. It just trickles generation to generation.
Yeah, it does.
It's just this generation.
Whoever the greatest athlete is at the time, that's who everybody want to be like. When Muhammad Ali was on top, everybody want to box. You know what I'm saying? When Jordan was doing what he was doing, everybody want to be Jordan.
Mama mentality.
The mama mentality. Everybody want to be Kobe. Everybody want to be LeBron. Whoever's the star at the time, that's what everybody want to follow. Whoever's doing it the best, that's what everybody want to be. Nimrod at this time was just the best at amassing the people, telling them that you can be successful by not ascribing your success to the Most High. You can defy the Most High and still make it. He was the best at it. And he gave the people a demonstration of his power through his physical attributes of being a hunter. Read on.
Verse 18. But thou shalt remember the Most High thy power.
It said, but you always supposed to do what?
Remember the Most High thy power.
Go ahead.
For it is he that giveth thee power.
It's the Most High that gives you what?
Power.
Go ahead.
To get wealth.
To get what?
To get wealth.
That's why the worship of Nimrod, which is the star Saturn, which is the same as the Greek god Kronos, the same as the Roman god Saturn, Saturnalia, which is a holiday festival that represents the god Saturn, which is the god of wealth.
So Saturday is Nimrod Day?
Saturday is Nimrod Day. And his worship still survives today. And the idea of his worship, every time you put up that damn tree, every time you deck your house up, every time you put them damn snowmen in your yard, every time you Christmas caroling, every time you cooking and bringing people over and singing jingles.
They even went so far to say, Happy Saturday.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, because you know what it is? You're still elevating and maintaining the customs and the ideas of Nimrod. Nimrod is an idea. Nimrod is the idea that Satan offered Eve. You could still survive and not be locked into the shepherd. That's why Christ said, if you smite the shepherd, he said the sheep will scatter. You know what? That understanding has survived to this day. This is what the Roman Catholic Church was doing. They was coming in, wiping out the leadership and implanting a false ideology. They was implanting a false religion. There was false ways of worshiping the Most High. Mingling in paganistic holidays with the Most High's commandments. Huh. It was confusion. That's how you capture the simple. Is you confuse them. You destabilize them. And it disorients them. And then that's how you're able to capture their minds and you bring them under your power. But how do you destabilize people? You get them from disconnecting from the Most High. You tell them that they can disconnect from the Most High and they'll survive. And that's how you make people become your subjects. That's why they didn't want us reading the Bible as slaves. That's why they would cut our tongues out as slaves. That's why they would lynch us or cut our lips off as slaves. That's why they would take hot coals out of a furnace and they would put it in our tongues. They'd burn our mouths out with hot coals. Because they didn't want you speaking the Bible. They didn't want you reading the Bible. Because the more you were connected from the Most High, the better of a slave you would be. The better of a servant you would be. That's how you smite the shepherd, and then the sheep shall scatter. They keep you disconnected from the Most High. The Most High has always been your source of power and your source of strength. It's the Most High that's always gotten you what? Wealth. Read that verse again. 18.
Verse 18. But thou shalt remember the Most High thy power, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
One more verse. Isaiah chapter 58 verse 13.
Isaiah chapter 58 verse what?
13.
Come.
Isaiah chapter 58 verse 13 reads, If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day.
It says, if we stop following the Most High and observing his days, his custom, the Sabbath is the Most High's high holy day. The Passover is the Most High's high holy day. Purim is the Most High's high holy day. Day of Atonement is the Most High's high holy day. Memorial blowing of the trumpets, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of First Fruits. All these are the Most High's high holy days. He said, but if somebody would get you from following the Sabbath, from following the days that I instituted. Christmas is not a day that the Most High instituted. That's a day that the Roman Catholic Church instituted. Read on.
And call the Sabbath a delight.
Go ahead.
The holy of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Honorable.
And we start honoring the Most High's high holy days and disconnect from these other high holy days or so-called holidays that are fake, that are man-made in the worship and honor of Nimrod and his teachings. Read on.
And shall honor him, not doing.
And honor the Most High, not doing what?
Thine own ways.
And how do you honor the Most High?
Not doing thine own ways.
But how do you honor Nimrod? You do you. That's how you honor Nimrod. You do what's best for you that comes up in your mind. You dictate who you should follow. You dictate what you should follow. This is when society gives you alternatives. There is no alternatives to following the Most High. There's no back doors to follow the Most High. There's no other way around following the Most High. That's why Christ said what? I am the way, the truth, and the what?
Life.
Life. No man coming to the Father but by who?
Me.
But by Christ. There's no alternatives. So he said, but if you do this, stop following your own way, which is what Nimrod was teaching way back in Genesis. Read on.
Nor finding thine own pleasure.
Or nor finding thine own what?
Pleasure.
Stop seeking out your own pleasure. Because that's what the world does. And men love those that bless themselves. That's what men love.
Can't lie. Ain't no lie, bro.
Read on.
Nor speaking thy own word.
And nor come up with your own understanding. Nor create your own holidays. That's what people do. That's what ignorant people do. They create their own days of worship. Their own days that are special. Read on.
Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord.
It says, then shall you delight in the Lord. Read on.
And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places.
He says, then I'll set you up on high. I'll give you leadership. I'll give you success. I'll give you prosperity. I'll give you wealth. I'll give you these things. Nimrod was the fast way to success and wealth and prosperity.
The way of the world.
That's the way of the world. The Most High's way is through obedience and submission. He says, that's how I'll raise you up. It's through your obedience and submission. And you honor my Sabbaths and you follow me. Then you shall ride on high. Read on.
upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father.
He says, then I'm going to bless you like I blessed your forefathers. It was contingent upon us not following us. Nimrod is about you following you, your opinion, what you come up with in your mind, or following other people that achieve success without following the Most High. That's what, yes ma'am.
I was going to say, it sounds like the complete opposite of Matthew 6:33.
Yeah.
Seeking the kingdom first.
What you said is correct. The sister said it sounds like the exact opposite of Matthew 6:33, which says what? Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, the kingdom of the Most High and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto thee. That's exactly what it is. But see, when you separate people from their power by destabilizing them, by having them disconnect from the Most High, by getting them to serve themselves versus serving the Most High, now they become easy prey. Now they become vulnerable. Now you can pick them apart. Now you can separate them. Now you can use them to your benefits. Read on in the Josephus.
Josephus.
Yes.
114. He also gradually changed the government into tyranny.
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 How do you change the government into tyranny? Read on.
Seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of God.
He says he had to come up with a way to turn men away from what?
The fear of God.
What, didn't Satan do that in the garden? Didn't Satan turn Eve away from the fear of the Most High? That's an old trick. That's a Nimrod trick, but that's also a satanic trick. All you have to do is get you to serve you. All you have to do is get you to pursue your own destiny. Pursue your own fate. Make your own happiness. Pursue your own happiness. The idea of the world is to destabilize you by getting you to disconnect from the Most High. That's how you turn the government into tyranny. That's how you smite the shepherd. That's how the sheep scatter. That's how you scatter the sheep. Read on.
But to bring them into a constant dependence.
It says, when you get people to disconnect from the Most High, you bring them into a what?
Constant dependence.
Wow. Go ahead.
Upon His power.
Upon whose power?
Nimrod.
Nimrod's power. This was Nimrod's teaching. It was a tactic. This is what made Nimrod mighty. He was able to pull people away from the Most High through an idea that there was other ways to gain success. And all it did was destabilize them, and it made them vulnerable, and it made them dependent upon his power.
I'm sorry, what page and chapter,
35.
Page 35, book 1, chapter 4, and paragraph 111 to 114. That was book 1, chapter 4 in the Josephus, sentence 111 down to 114. But how do you stabilize the people? How do you get the people back? Go to 1 Chronicles 16 and 30.
Wow.
It's 1 Chronicles 16 and 30. How do you go against the teaching of Nimrod?
1 Chronicles 16 and 30.
Let everybody get it. Read that.
1 Chronicles 16 and 30.
Start at verse 25.
1 Chronicles 16 and 25. For great is the Most High, and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods.
So the idea is to get you to go back to serving who? If Nimrod, the teachings of Nimrod destabilized us as a people, if the teachings of the church has destabilized us as a people, how do you go against that? You get people now to start fearing the Most High again. You teach people the fear of the Lord. This is how you get people to start serving the Most High properly. You teach them the fear of the Lord. Read on.
for all the gods of the people are idols.
He said, because if you keep following the ways of Nimrod or the idols of the people, you'll never connect with me. Their teaching is opposite of me. Their teaching is for you to pat yourself on the back and give yourself credit for your success. That's not my teaching. Read on.
But the Lord made the heaven.
He said, but the Lord made what?
The heaven.
Go ahead.
Glory and honor are in his presence.
Go ahead.
Strength and gladness are in his place.
Go ahead.
Give unto the Most High, ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Most High glory and strength.
You start worshiping the Most High, you start fearing the Most High, and you start giving the Most High credit for everything you get in where you are in your life. You give the Most High glory. Start denying yourself of where you are and who you are and gaining any prestige in the matter of your prosperity, of your advantages. Start looking at the Most High and start training yourself to start giving the Most High praise upon everything that you do in your life. Everything. You got to give the Most High praise for everything. That's how you counteract the teachings of Nimrod. Read on.
Give unto the Most High the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship the Most High in the beauty of holiness.
Go ahead.
Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved.
It says, and if you go back to fearing the Most High, the world shall be what?
Stable.
It said the world shall be stable. So how do you destabilize the world? How do you destabilize people? Go to Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. This is an old Nimrodian trick. Matthew chapter 12, verse 25.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself.
It says, every kingdom divided against itself. Go ahead.
Is brought to desolation.
This is how you capture people. This is how you weaken people. You divide them. Go ahead.
And every city or household.
If a kingdom is divided, it shall fall. It's vulnerable for failing. If a city is divided, it is vulnerable to failing. If a house is divided, it's doomed to what?
Fail.
To fail. This is a tactic of Satan. This is a tactic of Nimrod. This is why the government loves. This is why the Black Panther Party was they were a threat, and this is why they were executed. I don't even say killed. All the leaders of the Black Panther Party were executed or fed with drugs or given long sentences in prison. This is what the Project Paperclip or COINTELPRO was about. It was about the destabilization of black people to disrupt any type of black unity, any type of brown pride. Whether it was museums, whether it was theater, whether it was poetry, whether it was black book clubs, churches, meetings, unity, charity organizations. The idea of COINTELPRO, go look at it, go study it. The idea was to divide the people. This is what the diaries of Willie Lynch, how to make a slave. That's why Willie Lynch wrote a story about divide them up in colors. They teach them how to hate each other. Give the light skinned ones, put them on the porch. Give the darker skinned ones harder labor. You don't have to worry about ruling them. They'll fight amongst themselves. You don't have to worry about them attacking you or an insurrection. They're going to be in order for at least 300 years.
Light skin versus dark skin.
Light skin versus dark skin. Wealthy, the bougie versus the poor. Crips versus Bloods. Sureños versus Norteños. 17th Street versus 18th Street. East Side versus West Side. All you have to do is give them a variety of religions. Give them Baptists. Give them Catholicism. Give them Seventh-day Adventists. Give them Mormonism. Give them Islam. That's why I said give them all. That's how you divide them. He said a kingdom divided, a city divided, or a house divided. Put the woman as the head. Give the woman more benefits. She can't have a man in the house. She can't qualify for Section 8. She got a man in the house. And if we do an inspection and there's a man in the house, then she loses her Section 8. Put the woman as the head. All of this is what? These are tactics. That's why Christ said what?
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Go ahead.
And if Satan cast out Satan,
He said even if Satan is divided. Go ahead.
he is divided against himself.
And what?
How shall then his kingdom stand?
Even Satan's kingdom will fall if he's divided amongst himself. What you think is going on now? There's already protests, banners, people putting up signs, asking for a re-election, for a recount. People still going crazy now. They haven't accepted the positions that even this society is playing. And the leaders today can't even get along. It's already fallen. But that's what Nimrod was teaching. Divide them up.
I saw this.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I saw this lady. I was watching a post, and she snatched up the biting sound out in front of the gas station, and the lady went out there and was talking to her, telling her to put it back. She was like, "No, this is not true. Trump's still my daddy."
Yeah, tripping,
I was
bro.
like, wow.
Now go to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13.
I bye.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13. It says, "Is Yahweh Shai divided?"
Is Christ divided? So what this kingdom has done was divide us up as a people. And then they divided us up and they gave us different variations of Christ. They gave us Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, Lutheran, Calvinist, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness. They gave us all these subgroups of Christ. Catholicism, the Church of Beyonce, because Beyonce got a church too.
Wow, yeah.
Church of Bay,
Churches.
Church of Satan, whatever. They gave us options. But the Bible asks what? Is Christ divided? Go ahead.
Is Christ divided?
Go ahead.
Was Paul crucified for you?
Is the Church of Paul supposed to be? Is there supposed to be a Church of Paul? A Church of John the Baptist? Go ahead.
Or were ye baptized in the name of Paul?
Was you baptized in the name of Paul? Go ahead.
I thank the Most High that I baptized none of you.
It said first missionary Church of Paul, Macedonia, Antioch.
That's crazy.
Second division. You know what I'm saying? Parking lot D church. Go ahead.
By the Temple Mount.
Yeah, by the Temple Mount of the Holy Spirit.
He did that.
You know what I'm saying? Of the house of Bethel. Man, we got all kind of stuff going on, bro. Is Christ what? But you know what we'll do? We'll say I'm non-denominational. Well, if you're non-denominational, meaning you don't have no denomination, you don't ascribe to no denomination, then you're saying then that you follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. But the truth of it is, even as a non-denominational person, you still putting up a damn Christmas tree. You still worshiping Nimrod. You still celebrating these so-called holidays. Even as a non-denominational person, nobody's telling you to go back to following the Most High by His law, statutes, and commandments. That's why I said, did I baptize any of you? Should I be getting any credit? Read on.
I thank the Most High that I baptized none of you, but Crispus and Gaius, lest any should say that I had baptized in mine own name.
He said, that's why Paul said, listen, man, I don't want nobody to say I did anything in my own name. Because I did this in the name of Christ. Everything I do is Christ. It's for Christ. But all these different variations of Christ just shows you that the teachings of Nimrod still exist today. The tactics of Satan, which is to divide the minds of our people, the so-called Negroes, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Haitians, Argentinians, Brazilians, North American, Central and South Americans of Negroid and Indian descent, are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Those are the ones scattered that the Most High said He would punish for not keeping His commandments. But we're at each other's necks. We're fighting amongst each other. Mexicans don't like Puerto Ricans. Cuban light-skinned Cubans don't like dark-skinned Cubans. Dominican Republic don't like Haitians. They're on the same island. but they hate each other. Blacks don't like blacks.
No matter what.
It's ridiculous, man. But when we come back to serving the Most High like we're supposed to, this is how we go against the teachings of Nimrod. When we stop following the customs that these nations gave us. There's only one power. That's why the Most High said, I made the heavens. So every time we erect or maintain or continue in this way of worship, we keep an idea alive. And Nimrod's teachings alive. But this is why we have to now go to Romans chapter 10, verse 1 and 2.
Romans chapter 10 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Romans chapter 10 verse 1 reads, Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved.
Go ahead. He said, that's why Paul said, my prayer to the Most High is that they be saved. Read on.
For I bear them record.
Go ahead.
That they have a zeal of the Most High.
Said, my people have a zeal of the Most High. Go ahead.
But not according to knowledge.
What's the benefit of knowledge? Go to Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. What's the benefit of knowledge? He said, my people have a zeal. We have a desire to serve the Most High. We just do it ignorantly. We just do it foolishly. We do it erroneously. We just do it irrationally. We just serve the Most High without knowledge. We're left to believe that erecting these so-called customs and traditions of the nations has anything to do with the Most High. But how do we worship the Most High in knowledge? How do we stabilize ourselves from the teaching of Nimrod and the teachings of the Roman Catholic Church and all these false idolatrous customs that we've adopted from the Christian church also? Read, pork is the other white meat.
Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge.
It says, and wisdom and knowledge, go ahead,
shall be the stability of thy time.
This is what's going to stabilize us again as a nation of people. This is how we counteract what Nimrod was teaching that survived for thousands. We go back to serving the Most High based on his wisdom, based on his knowledge. It says, for wisdom and knowledge shall be what?
The stability of thy time.
Of our times, go ahead.
And strength of salvation.
And it gives us the strength to see Christ in a better way, to follow after Christ, to understand what Christ was teaching. Christ said, I'm the good shepherd. He said, for the good shepherd laid down his life for what?
The sheep.
For the sheep. Nimrod was the opposite. When you read in the Unger's Bible Dictionary about Nimrod, Nimrod's gratification came from the thrill of the kill. By the shedding of an animal's blood, he gratified himself for the fact that the victory, I conquered this animal. I conquered this animal, and by me conquering this animal, it gave to me self-gratification because I killed this animal. That gratification was what made Nimrod powerful. It was a dog-eat-dog mentality. My gratification came at the expense of something else's life. At the expense of this animal dying, that's what I use to make myself feel better. You can read that in the Unger's Bible Dictionary about Nimrod's qualities, about his characteristics. Christ, that's not his characteristic. Christ said, I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd laid down his life for the sheep. He said, my gratification comes by me dying or me putting myself last so other people could be first. That's where he got his gratification from versus Nimrod. That was the difference from Christ being a shepherd and Nimrod being a leader. Where does your gratification come from? Does your gratification come at the expense of stepping on other people? Because if that's so, that's the root of capitalism. That's business. That's corporate America. Your success comes from companies that you buy out, stepping on the small guy. You think Walmart feels guilty for closing down 10,000 mom and pop shops? You think they feel guilty? That's the American way. Step on the small guy. That's corporate America. But that's not Christ. Christ, his gratification came from laying down his life so other people could live. Read that again.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation.
Now, and strength of salvation. Now finish that where you at.
Come. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High.
Our people do love the Most High. That's why we think that by putting up these damn Christmas trees and celebrating Easter and doing Easter egg hunts and doing Thanksgiving and the Most High is about it. We want to believe that the Most High is acknowledging these days. We want to think that we're making the Most High happy, but the origin of these holidays are strictly paganistic. Go ahead.
But not according to knowledge.
He said, but it's not according to what?
Knowledge.
It's not according to knowledge. But it's the knowledge that's been fed to us as slaves. Read on.
For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness.
Go ahead.
And going about to establish their own righteousness.
And we read that earlier. That's what people do when they have no other option because they can't see the Most High with their eyes. They create their own image or idea of God. They create their own image of idea of what God is. They erect their own statue in their mind. They erect their own way of worship. They create their own church. That's why there's 10,000 churches. There's a church of snakes, church of serpents, where people bless snakes and pray with snakes and dance. There's even an Asian dude you showed me that got his worshipers toting guns. They all got guns in the congregation. And he's teaching them that their objective is to kill the wicked. The Asian dude on Vice that got the crown of bullets that he wear to teach his congregation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's all kind of churches going on.
It's pretty crazy right there.
Right. But he said what? They have a zeal of God, but what?
They have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
Go ahead.
For they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness.
They've been ignorant of what's right to the Most High. Only if our people knew the Most High didn't give a damn about no Christmas. Only if people knew the Most High don't give a damn about no Easter eggs. The Most High don't give a damn about no Thanksgiving. The Most High don't give a damn about no New Year's. Most High don't give a damn about that.
I hate and despise your feast days.
Right, we're going to read that too. That's in Amos 5:21. Read that.
They say I don't do it in the name of God. I do it because it's just my day off and, you know.
They're just going to take advantage of the opportunity. Come on, man. Read that right there. Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
Amos chapter 21?
Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
Read that.
It says, I despise your feast day.
What did the Most High say?
I hate.
The Most High love.
I hate.
The Most High love Christmas.
I hate.
He loved the caroling.
I hate.
He loves the ham.
I hate.
He loves the turkey.
I hate.
He loved the eggnog.
I hate.
He loved the cranberry sauce.
I hate.
With the stuffing.
I hate.
With the brown gravy.
I hate.
What about the Christmas cake?
You know what I'm saying? With the damn fatback and the hog moths and the chitlins and the greens. The fatback and the greens, the salt pork and the greens.
Yeah, he
hated that. Or the tamales. You know you gotta have tamales. That's a tradition, huh? That's custom. That's tradition. You gotta have tamales. You gotta have some pozole caldo when you hungover, because there's gonna be a lot of drinking for Christmas. Bread pudding. He said, I despise, I hate your what?
Your feast day.
Go ahead.
And I will not smell in your solemn assembly.
You can pray over it. I don't want to smell that damn fatback. I don't want to smell them chitlins. I don't smell that collard greens with the pork all in it. He said, that don't smell good to me. Read on.
Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings.
And though you might gather everybody in the house and bring the family together and you cook it, you having a great feast, a big old spread. Go ahead.
I will not accept them.
He said, the Most High said, I will not what?
I will not accept them.
The Most High said, that's tradition, that's man-made tradition that the nations follow. They created these days. I don't acknowledge these days. I will not accept these days. These are unacceptable to me. Read on.
Neither will I regard the peace offering of your fat beasts.
He said, neither will I regard the peace offering of your what?
Your fat beasts.
All that damn big old ham, big old turkey. You got the 35-pound turkey. You got the biggest damn turkey they got in the damn store. And you think that by doing this, the Most High is with you. These are fat beasts. Or you got the turducken.
It's disgusting.
You got the turkey with the duck inside, and then you got the chicken inside the duck.
Wow, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. So that, you know what I'm saying, you got all of them cooked together in one big roast. Most I say I would not honor that. Go ahead.
Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Most I don't want to hear that. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The Most High don't want to hear that. All that he said, that's noise, man. Go ahead.
For I will not hear the melody of thy vows.
He said, I will not hear the melody of thy vow. I don't care what album you play. Whether it's Nat King Cole, Gerald Levert, it could be anybody.
Jackson 5 singing.
Jackson 5, Michael Jackson singing Christmas carols. Most I don't want to hear that. It says all noise. The noise of thy vows. Go ahead.
But let judgment run down as waters.
He said, let judgment run down as waters. Learn how to look at things the way I look at things. That's a good scripture too, but I'll read that Colossians chapter 2 verse 8 real quick.
Colossians chapter 2 verse 8.
And go and hold where you at in Romans 10. Go ahead.
Beware, lest any man spoil you.
He said, beware lest any man do what?
Spoil you.
But it's bigger than just a man. There's an entire church establishment set up to spoil you. It's a large organization of powers, of rulers in high places that are there to spoil you. Through what?
Through philosophy.
Through philosophy and what?
And vain deceit.
And vain deceit. These are tricks. These are traps that certain nations have put together in order to conquer and subjugate people. This is how you destabilize people, and you feed them with a doctrine that has nothing to do with the Most High. It keeps them vulnerable. It keeps them dependent upon you. They have these festivals, but these festivals don't change their servitude. You can have your Christmas. You can take your 2 weeks off for the holidays. You can get a week off of school. But after Christmas, you still come back and be a servant to this society. Even though you think that you're doing something good for God. It's the biggest trick in the book. Go ahead.
It says, after the tradition of men.
After the what?
Tradition of men.
After the tradition of men. Go ahead.
After the rudiments of the world.
And who was the progenitor of this way of thinking? It was Nimrod.
It's your boy.
And go ahead, it's your boy, man. It's your guy. Go
and
ahead.
not after Christ.
And not after Christ. Now finish that in Romans.
Romans chapter 10 and verse 3. For they being ignorant of the Most High righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness,
read on,
have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High.
It says, and not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. So the only way that we can break the spell of Nimrod is to go back, for us as a people, to go back and serving the Most High and submitting ourselves to what the Most High considers right. And that has everything to do with Christ, not Nimrod. Not after the rudiments of the world. So with that, we're going to go ahead and say shalom, the water for listening, and keep this in mind as you embark on these so-called holidays. All right, so with that, we're going to say shalom.
Shalom.